Pretty much flat to start here this morning for both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. We're just popping back into positive territory coming off. Bit of a rebound on Friday, if you remember. We got back to basically break even as well to end the week. A ton of critical data coming up this week in the form of consumer prices and producer prices, both the CPI print and PPI print to come. The market obviously closely watching CPI more so than PPI. Meanwhile, a few things moving around here this morning to kick things off. I just saw this one, Tesla as well, just getting back to positive on the morning, trying to hold on to $200 quietly. You can no longer buy the rear wheel drive version or the cheapest version of the cybertruck. Elon removing that from the website. So no more orders being taken. There was an engineer, I saw there was one note this morning saying an engineer had confirmed that the model itself has been discontinued. So they've gone to the $100,000 version of the Cybertruck as the entry-level version of the Cybertruck now. So, they had over 1 million orders for this thing, and I guess that was enough.
I still haven't been in one, Brendo.
Yeah.
Despite my best efforts.
I saw my second one, actually, a couple
saw it on the road?
Yeah, I've seen a couple now.
Still haven't seen. Saw a Rivian this morning. Still haven't seen a Cybertruck in the wild. But yeah, good look for Tesla. Elon Musk obviously doing stuff over the weekend with respect to Twitter. So we'll keep eyes on that. Obviously, separately, Starbucks today getting a nice nod from Starboard Value. They're looking at getting activist, and there we saw Elliott Management take a stake in that company last month. Brendo, they want to get a board seat.
Yeah, nice pop after the close for that one. We'll have a look at that coming up. Disney moving around here this morning, making some announcements on the weekend for both the theme parks and cruise lines. So not a lot of volume behind this, but Disney, a bit of a pullback right now, coming back into $86. More importantly, I feel like it's been a while since we've all been here, but Sean is back. Good to have him back. Good morning, guys.
We're back. Is the mic on, though?
Is the mic on, though? The mic is on. Welcome. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for tuning in once again. Is this a new 8-ball?
This is the new, wow. It's actually a special
Why? And
one.
I said when I came back, I said, I need, first of all, I hear some feedback.
I'm hearing some weird stuff
up in here. Yeah. Is that I need more. The best thing about me leaving was, first of all, probably much higher quality show. The second thing would have been, obviously, the fact that the markets were insane. And so I said, I missed
a little bit
the worst day in 2 years, the best day in 2 years, and I come back to read that it was the greatest trading week pretty much since anybody can remember. So I need more vacation time to give more traders like yourself and everybody around here as much opportunity as possible.
Every day was day was a pretty positive day, I think, for most traders, and there was really big opportunities. The craziest thing about it was on Friday, you were just Friday morning, you were pretty much already sitting at the previous week's close levels. It was just nothing had happened, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, the crazy dip buying opportunities that you had," but really, if you didn't dip buy Monday morning right away.
Yeah, I see some of those prices.
Yeah, it was.
Well, you could have bought Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, I just mean the crazy bottoms. It was 5-10 minutes.
It's $22. Where's my hat?
I was saying it was.
Now you're above. It's right here.
Okay.
Now it's above $30.
Obi brought it out, so I'm pretty sure it should be.
But yeah, fish and chips we had.
Bangers and mash though.
Bangers and mash.
There you go.
Everything, man. We had proper afternoon tea at the British National Museum there.
No accent though.
At the crumpets. Yeah, we just had proper tea.
There you go.
Yeah, not much accents. Not much accents.
What? That's how you say it.
But yeah, and then right back to another baseball tournament all weekend, and then a baseball tonight, and more baseball. So yeah, that's why the voice still can never recover. So jet lag, what's that? I was there for 4 days, came back, went immediately the next day, and played a couple of games in Oakville, so it was fun. But yeah, Palantir over $30. We like that one. Apple 217. Apple's still staying real strong. I'm thinking about selling some of these tech names because I don't know. Whenever you get this kind of volatility, the market's not healthy. That's the thing. It's getting these little fevers right up and down, and I just feel that little bit of worriness in this market, especially now through earnings. So we'll see. I feel lucky to come back to the Nasdaq's where it is. It could be a lot lower, I feel like.
Yeah, it could have been much worse. The VIX was on watch. We were talking about the VIX, emergency rate cuts. People were talking about last week this time.
Yeah.
And halt down levels, all that good stuff. But the VIX just absolutely chilled out in a big way. Like it was, we're actually breaking right back underneath where all of this mess started from, like the previous Friday. And it'll be on watch. Like if you get some spikes, there could be something, but this was a pretty decent indicator. I think when it was trending back in, it was pretty easy to sort of hold on to longs unless you got something crazy. So volatility in the markets is there, but the VIX spike and then right back into nothing. We get some retail earnings this week. That should be a heck of a lot of fun. And there's a lot of key levels out there, especially 60,000 Bitcoin. So the 60,000 level support to resistance, it's kind of chilling at resistance. Watch some Coinbase 200 today if we can get above 60,000.
All right, a few things to touch on here this morning. I was just noting top to bottom. So if you go back to the highs, all-time highs on the NASDAQ, I mean, this is just the Qs, but top to bottom, 15% round trip here on this pullback. Again, from the NASDAQ, S&P ended up being just shy of 10. So we didn't even get to a correction territory for the S&P 500. I mean, will we see lower prices? Who knows, possibly. But as of right now, looks like we're starting to hold here. 450 coming into play. BTC as well, moving around significantly here this morning, flirting with 60,000 after a bit of a pullback to end last week.
And we saw net outflows going on Friday, even though on basically till Thursday, Brenda, we had seen net inflows come in both to IBI or the BTC spot ETF as well as the ETH. Now on Friday, we saw net flows out of both. So ETFs for BTC lost about $90 million. ETH much less at about 15.5. The open interest here, though, on Bitcoin is becoming a little worrisome. The surge in the open interest suggests possible market volatility coming for this asset. So we'll have to keep an eye on crypto today.
Yeah, the move in some of the ETFs, very similar here this morning, where we are pulling back a little bit here on IBIT to start. But I mean, the bottom end of the range seems to be holding here, guys, for crypto-related stocks right across the board.
Yeah, it's looking pretty. It's looking pretty good, but then everything bounced and is looking pretty good after last week in a comparative sense. And as mentioned, the 60,000 level, it's obviously going to be a bit of a big one here for BTC. So we have to push through it. And what that provides you with is a bit of an opportunity. Now, CleanSpark had their earnings last week. Mara is diddling in the middle. Don't know how much I like this one as a trade. Like it's down 3.5%, kind of sitting right in the middle of no man's land. However, as I mentioned just a second ago or a couple minutes ago, Coin last week, same high, more or less every single time, right in here, like 198, half, 199. You go right to the previous Friday close level. There's so many stocks out there that kind of got to those Friday highs, and then you have a pretty clear held resistance all week long or broke it out. Like Apple's the example of something that broke it out and looks really strong. Nvidia is an example of something that didn't get past those highs. Well, Coinbase is another one of those. So when I look at BTC, if we're able to get above that 60,000 and trend above, all you did is wipe out bottom like everything else, hold a higher low support, and you're trying to break back out this top here. So you still have 200. And I probably said exactly the same thing on Friday, but then it got to 200 without breaking it again. So it's a pretty clean level for Coinbase here. Don't necessarily see anything I love on Mara. And that one's it's just a little weaker overall. So I'd rather be looking at Coin. And yes, Daryl Flinch, shout out to Rai Benjamin in the Olympics, the American, who, by the way, was born in Antigua. And if you have not seen the 400-meter men's and women's hurdles in the Olympics, that is worth, there's so many things that were amazing in the Olympics, but unbelievable, both the men's and women's 400-meter hurdles. And the Americans took them both, and it's absolutely epic. There's a stat, and this is the craziest stat.
Yeah.
In the women's 400-meter hurdles, Sydney McLaughlin, she lined up in the semifinals, and the commentator said during the semifinals, her personal best in the 400-meter hurdles is faster than all of her competitors in this race in the 400 without the hurdles. That's how much better she is than world-class women. She's the most dominant track athlete since Usain Bolt. No, I don't care about Sydney McLaughlin. She's an absolute McLaughlin Lavergne is what you're supposed to say. But I love the Olympics. It was amazing. Even that, I don't know, have you seen any of the clips of the breakdancing?
I can't watch that.
I died.
I can't. I was watching. I'm like this. Even though Canada won, I'm just like, honestly, I cannot watch this.
You saw the Australian one?
And then the fact that, honestly, I really like Snoop Dogg, and I'm not trying to say that there's nothing wrong with this guy being there. You know, he was paid $500,000 a day to be there.
You got paid $500,000 a day?
To be there. Yeah, exactly.
A day?
Yeah, a day. No, it's great, man. I mean, I'm loving the
day?
guy. I ain't turning that down.
No, I mean,
But when I found that out, I'm like, oh, no wonder this guy's here pumping it up. Yeah, good for him. I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, whatever Paris wants to do, they're going to do.
I got a good kick out of the break.
We'll see. I'll be at the 2028 Olympics. 50 bucks a day. I'll go there. All right. So yeah, no, I'm looking here at Bitcoin. Same kind of thing here. This $50,000 drop, that was a flash in the bucket there. I said we had 20,000 round trip in a week. We were 70,000 down to 49,000 in a week, 7 days. And then a monster rally back. This shows me that there is some strength here in Bitcoin, honestly. It obviously shows that when they want to sell it and there's those worries, we saw the spike up in the VIX. I mean, if we're going to talk about risky assets, there's lots of things you could trade out there that are very, very risky, and Bitcoin might be right up there. But at the end of the day, I feel like, and what I wrote down here today on the sticky note is now out, is that like Bitcoin breaking through 60,000, you know, like we're trying to get there. I feel like that next level is 63. You know, and then I really feel like you just go right back up to the top here. This is not something that's going to be affected by earnings reports or anything like that. It's that whole global crash, that whole worriness of the surprise rate hikes and all this kind of stuff that comes through. I think Bitcoin is kind of on an island by itself right now. I like it a lot. Like I didn't do any shopping at all besides on the streets of London, but not in stocks or anything, but I really think this is a great level here, 55,000 for Bitcoin. So I want to watch a 60K break and see if we can trade that through one of the instruments, whether or not it be Coinbase, whether or not it be, I don't want to, ETHE is not, I mean, that hasn't been as well received here at Ethereum, I noticed. Wait a minute, it's not ETHE.am anymore. Oh, is it still over here? Oh, yeah, it must be.
It's still
over there. So this hasn't had the comeback, obviously, that Bitcoin has, but still not too bad from $20 up to $22. So, you know, there's some love over there, but I prefer Bitcoin. I think the stability over there is something that to be appreciated. I'd like to talk to maybe Michael Noss about that. He'll be on, I believe, tonight with me as well, and hopefully on soon.
Yes, sir.
About the relative strength there in Bitcoin, if there is any at all.
Mention tax.
Let's touch on a couple of things here. I was going to mention, I mean, we're talking about Tesla. I was going to mention Rivian. You saw Rivian on the weekend. This morning. Yeah. There was a couple of things we discussed back on Friday. This thing got hit pretty hard when the overall market bounced nicely into the weekend. I mean, it wasn't a huge move, but definitely positive. $14 here if you zoom out on Rivian ends up being support. Going back to the end of the week, but we've round-tripped that huge move from Thursday now.
It was interesting when they reported last week, Breno, because we got some more details about the looks of their balance sheet, and they're burning through cash aggressively. The only thing that kind of saved them here was the deal with Volkswagen, the joint venture, which had the effect of injecting about $1 billion. Still $4 more billion apparently left from that deal that's going to come in. We're going to have to see how that works out because the two sides didn't really jive on what the partnership was. Rivian saying, no, this is going to be more of just a software operations thing. Volkswagen was thinking no more battery sharing technology, propulsion system technology sharing, and they weren't really on the same wavelength with that.
Yeah, remember we were discussing that roadshow. They were going out on a month-long roadshow to promote the new models that were coming up back on Thursday, I think it was, that came out that helped that rally for Rivian. Lucid as well also had that funding note going back to the end of the week. Another, what was it, $2.5 billion, I think, coming Lucid's way. So EVs definitely worth a watch here, guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously Tesla front and center almost every single day as a trading stock, but it's worth mentioning Rivian, that round trip from the Thursday move. Like so many stocks, when we talk about this, that broke out above that, the bottom, got made, and then you had that Friday close, and you broke out above. Rivian did its best effort almost every single day to try to get above the $15 level where it closed last Friday, and fail. Like, I think it was like 5 or 6, was that 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, 5 times the stock failed was 15, maybe even 6 times it failed a 15 breakout. So if this gets up to 15, like, that's the zone. I think it's a pop and fade. I marked this off like a lower high just in case it stays weak at 14.5. But yeah, not a great. It wasn't a bad week for any stock that got off the Monday lows. That's kind of a weird. You can't really call it bad when this was $13 and now it's at 14. But the amount of times, specifically Rivian at that $15, where it just couldn't get out and above it. Clearly, you had some sellers there the entire week. If they step down, look 14.5. If it gets back up to 15, until it breaks out from there, I'm looking for fades on Rivian at that $15 level this week. Probably didn't give it enough credence. Things felt a lot bullish after Monday, so it wasn't always the first thing you were looking to do to be short some of these things. But yeah, that 15 on Rivian, that to me has got to be a sell zone after what we saw.
Yeah, speaking of the devil here, as Randy's coming back in.
Sweet.
Oh, wow, 3.
Look at that. Is that yours?
For yourself as well, I hope.
All right.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
We were talking about cars there. It's always like right at this time.
He knows.
Cheers.
It's like, I think Brendan maybe knows, or we just always have a habit of talking EVs at 8:45.
about this
I have
time.
no idea. Oh, sweet. Oh, look at that. And he comes bearing gifts.
Wow. This one from before. Thank you, Randy.
Sweet.
It was jolly, man. I just told him we had the afternoon tea. We went on the double-decker bus there. We did the hop on, hop off.
Did you go to Dirty Dick's?
I didn't even see the Dirty Dicks.
Oh, come on.
No, I didn't. I didn't look for it.
It's right in Whitehall.
Oh, look, we were everywhere. It was fantastic. The walk around there is fantastic. I mean, all the little pubs there.
You got to look left, though, eh?
So much food. Chinatown is right there. The best part about looking left is you look down and it tells you what to do on the street.
Yes.
It was genius. I almost got run over about 4 or 5 times, and then it said at the bottom, look right, look left. So I was like, perfect, boom. But do not jaywalk in London if you don't know what you're doing there, because it is insane.
You'd be flattered.
There, yeah, Marissa almost lost her a couple times. It would not have been fantastic.
That would.
It would have not been fantastic. But the price of everything, like unbelievable. So it was 2. We went to Gordon Ramsay's Street Burger one day because Rob recommended it. It was really good. And the burgers aren't that bad. 18 pounds for a burger and fries, which is, well, you come here, you go to a burger place.
Yeah,
a Big Mac combo's $18, right? This was fine. With that and a beer each was 99 Canadian. Yeah, expensive times. Because each pound is $1.90.
Yeah.
Each pound is $1.90 Canadian. So I met up with Adam there, and I forgot to tell him when he comes here, he's coming here he wants to do dinner with all of us. Wives, everything.
Sweet.
I recommended Rodney's, Neil.
I am seconding
because
that.
I was like, I know one way we can get Neil out based on his broken Achilles.
I'll be fine by then, man.
Right, you'll be fine by then. And then we were going to go to Rodney's, and we wanted to make sure that Randy got the invite.
Well, Randy.
So the end of
Everyone wants to see
September,
you.
I believe, Randy.
Yes. I'll be walking by the end of. Okay, well, I should.
We went on the River Thames there on a boat cruise. It was crazy. Up to Greenwich. Saw the O2, where the Olympics and all that stuff. That huge stadium that has the spikes coming out of it. London's great. Smell you later.
Smell you later.
Speak of that. I was wondering what that was.
I can't believe you still have this.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't touch it. Always like, I'm like, no, you don't want to eat that. It's been out for like forever. Got to have the.
I was going to just talk about Tesla, but I mean, there's not that much. We have Michael Noss just waiting there, and I appreciate everybody in the chat there. They love this kind of stuff. I mean, this is what we bring here at Trader TV Live, this banter and hopefully fun times. Okay, so there's still this gap that has to get filled. I think it gets filled today, and I actually really like the long. There was so much stuff that, like, I have written on here, Amazon, Robinhood, Apple, XOM, Bitcoin, but like Palantir should be on the sticky note. Tesla should probably be on it as well right now. Barring any news coming out today that's negative, if this market can go and Tesla will take 200, I mean, you're right there right now. I know we're red on Tesla right now. We're flat on the day, but the Nasdaq's trying to be here. Look, you can go the other way too. I don't know long or short. Let's figure out what this week's going to be. I mean, who knows? But this little break right here of 203 seems like we can easily cover that back up to 207, 208. So I think that's a break that we have to take. So that's something to look at, especially if this NASDAQ wants to go. And I think we'll be able to tell early enough if Tesla wants to make that move. So for me, I'm going to be looking at a Tesla long, probably through that 203, 204 area. But let's see if the market gives it to us. There's still 40 minutes.
Lots of time.
40 minutes to go. So, all right, we'll go back over to the desk.
Michael Noss with us to kick things off in a brand new week to talk about gaps and specifically how to find when specific gaps, not only in the market, but individual names could potentially fill. Mr. Noss, give us some knowledge.
Yeah, and this is a new way to look at gaps. So usually I come to you guys around this time on earnings season, and I have some really strong names that are holding very well, and after some sort of earnings gap or news gap, and we look for that gap continuation. But as I've been talking about with all the market craziness and turmoil, and the election seasonality, which basically says that we should be choppy from now until the election's over in November, I'm more of a buy the dip, sell the rip kind of guy for the next few months. I think less of buying breakouts and trend continuations as the market is more volatile. I think it's better suited to be somebody who's playing a little bit of that volatility, buying names as they're coming in, and then selling names as they're popping up. So the first chart I have here on ELF is just an example. Oh, sorry, I added that one late, so it should be one above. And if it's not there, that's fine. No, so sorry, that was my bad anyway. But we'll just talk about it quickly. This is a good one as well. I had an example of something that was winning, but the idea behind a gap fill is that what you're doing, as opposed to the stocks that have gapped up and they're holding and they're breaking to new highs, the psychology behind that being that people are willing to chase up the new price and they're trying to push higher as the stock is moving higher. When you have something like a gap fill, basically what you're doing is you're saying that the people who miss the initial gap, so say I there's a stock at $10 and it gaps up to 12. And I wanted that stock, but I wanted to wait for the earnings to come out. I may then wait to see if it comes back to 11 or 10.50 or even $10 a share in order to buy it at that original price that I like. So we're looking for two things to happen. One is the gap to fill, and then two, we're waiting to see if that gap holds and it actually acts as support, and then we can use that level as a way to buy. Again, more of a revision to the mean kind of strategy, a pullback strategy, and less of the breakout strategies that I play very often. So the first chart I have here, I think, is a perfect example in VNRO. And this is a lower cap. It's under $1 billion. I'm sorry, MNRO, lower cap, under $1 billion company, but you can see it gapped up and had a strong reaction to earnings. That big green candle, the vertical yellow line is how we denote earnings on the Trade Ideas platform. And we had that nice, strong gap. And then we've pulled back in and we filled the gap perfectly. So now we have 3 days in a row where we have a bottoming tail at that gap. So what I'm looking to see is if I can get any strength today, I know exactly where my stop loss will be. It'll be under that gap fill. If that fails and we start to trade much lower than this, then it's going to be time to go out. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to take a bet that the people who missed that initial gap are very excited that it has come back to that price, and they're going to use that price to start buying on this gap that originally missed, it gapped from say $26 or so up to 30 and then ran to 32, and now it's back to around $26. So I'm hoping the people go, oh great, this stock that I loved gapped without me, and now I'm going right there. So again, we want to see that strength, and then we have a good stop loss in that area. So that's the game plan. We have a scan for this, obviously, as I'm presenting it to you. It's a new one that we've built. You can reach out to me on Twitter. My Twitter's right on the screen there, and I can get you the scan, or you can email info@trade-ideas.com, and we can get you access to this as well. Now, next one here is Coursera, C-O-U-R, a company that I actually use quite a bit when I'm trying to learn something new. Really, really strong gap. The stock in Coursera has been beaten up. You can see on the monthly chart in the lower left-hand corner for a long time. But it gapped all the way from about, say, $7-8 a share up to 12 or 13, so a massive gap of almost 50%. It's come back in, it's filled that gap. Again, we're going to wait a couple days and we're going to watch these to see if the market thinks that this is an opportunity to buy the dip. Again, if it just continues lower, then it's going to be time to move on, but could be a good price for this dip buy. Next one here is QS, which is Quantum Scope. One thing I like about this one is it has a 16, almost 17% short float on this name. And again, a massive gap. We're talking from $5. It ran to 10 in that initial spike and has now come down. So we're seeing, again, do people say, oh, I think this could go back to that $10, so I'm going to look to bid on some of it here. The boxes I'm drawing are just highlighting the entire gap. So the low of that gap, if that ends up breaking and we close significantly below that, that's where we're wrong and it's time to get out. Last but not least here, we have VNDA, which is a low float pharmaceutical company, so always be careful on those. This one actually is a good example of what happened last time. It gapped from $5 and it gapped all the way up to about $7, came back to that $5, and you can see it had a nice little push back up and over 6, and now it's back there again. So the question is, will this hold a second time? And if it does, I like this kind of better because now you're combining a gap fill with a potential double bottom and an area of support. So these kind of plays, I will admit, are more outside of my wheelhouse than, buying very, very strong names. In this case, we're buying some weaker names that we hope have earning surprises. I just think, again, based off what we've seen in the market and based off the seasonality around the election season, it's going to be a good time to adapt, and it's going to be a time to, maybe step outside your comfort zone a bit, buy stocks as they're pulling in, sell stocks as they're ripping, instead of going for these, trend home runs when the wind's not at our back to do that.
It's the simpler, more basic ideas that are just more market structure than anything that can give you these opportunities. A good time to find a lot of holes and gaps in charts coming off of what happened at the beginning of last week as well. We did get a nice recovery in individual names, but great stuff. Michael Noss back with us on the recap after the close tonight. We'll see you then.
I'll talk to you tonight.
Sir, thank you, Michael. So that should be a lot of fun. And what's interesting about that QS is, it's got a short float, so looking for a bounce on that can always make sense. But as a day trader, it cuts both ways. That support on, the first thing I saw is, it could also just flat bottom break. It holds and you get a bounce. Maybe it does that same thing it did the last earnings, which is pull all the way back in, giving you a retrace halfway, 6 to 8. Or if it does break down, that gives you maybe a trend back into $5. I think that's a good level in either direction. You just got to wait for something to happen. You can't just sit there saying, oh, it's going to bounce, let's just go long every day. Or, if it never bounces, you're sitting there just in a position for no point. So when it breaks away from that price, QS is definitely something that can get going. Worth it in either way. If I see this breaking down or maybe there's a big market flush or something, you like those flat bottom breaks just as well. And never ignore that 16.5 short float. All you need is a reason to go squeezing sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say, Michael taught me never really to catch a falling knife or anything like that, and that one looks like that to me, QS. So I'm going to stay away from that. I remember trading that in the 30s and 40s. Actually was pretty much live on the show when it broke a level there. It was way back, and I remember getting out of it in the swing accounts, and since then it's been kind of a nightmare. I was still looking at Tesla. I'm trying to flow through a couple different ideas here. Me and Neil were just talking. It's obviously, unless you were sitting here, to try to get some of these prices that happened last Monday, pretty intense. Uber was $57, and then you could have still got $60 on Tuesday. You could have got 63 on Wednesday. You could have got 65. So you got 66. You got 67, 68. And now you're starting to go higher here on Uber. I really like this idea, man. Uber's everywhere. Again, it was in London here. They had the Uber boats there on the Thames, River Thames. We actually took those. That was fantastic, the Uber boats. Why Toronto doesn't have Uber boats like those clippers? Honestly, Toronto's
It'll happen.
So stupid. We have lineups for days on those stupid ferries to go across, and it's like you're herding cattle in through there. It's ridiculous. And there's not even that many taxis. And meanwhile, I'm going over there to London. It's like you just, hey, cheerio, and you just grab a little water cab there. It's pretty easy. But anyways, Uber, I really like Uber. So I think this could be a name to look out for. Again, a name going the complete opposite way of that QuantumScape. This name going out and breaking higher. So I think this 65, 66 area right into here looks good enough to me if we get some dip buys. But if you're looking for breakouts, I feel like there's better ones we've talked about. But this up here at 69.50 going back into last month, second last day, second last week, 23rd here, into last month. These are some decent levels here as well. So I feel like Uber has a good chance to get going on the day. So 0.16 now for Uber. I think there's higher highs coming in this name. I like the stock. Adara has a few other names for us at the screen.
Sir.
3 of last week's earnings names actually kicking off the upgrade side of things today. HSBC Securities upgrading Take-Two Interactive. We have Eli Lilly getting an upgrade from Deutsche Bank. We know they had quite a few positive analyst notes last week as well. So LLY, one to watch here. We have Robinhood as well getting an upgrade from Piper Sandler. And last but not least on the upgrade side, Mondelez getting an upgrade here from Goldman Sachs. On the downgrade side, Qualcomm here down about 1.5% with this upgrade, this downgrade, from Wolf Research. Piedmont getting a downgrade from Macquarie. We have Bright House Financial being downgraded by Wells Fargo. And last but not least, EchoStar getting a downgrade from JP Morgan Chase. A few names of note here, guys.
You're excited about that, Eli Lilly. Adara, I'm sure that will be a trade at some point. Adara trading that all last week.
Did you buy
big $900 level that got held onto on Eli Lilly? I think it's not always the obvious day trading pick. But man, earnings continuation plays on earnings have been a thing, and this was a good one. I mean, Shopify was good last week. I'm talking about earnings continuations. Palantir was good for earnings continuation, and a couple of others. And the trend has just been so clean on this one. It could be taken out that 910 at some point here today. You're just clearing it out. That 888 is gone from last week. I think that would be an interesting zone for a dip buy, previous resistance. Eli seems primed to try to retake some of those highs up there.
Yeah, that's a great stock. Hey, what's up, Brendo? All right, just real quickly, I had Robinhood on here. I like the stock. They had a great quarter last week. When I was sitting there last week and getting in trouble for looking at stocks and whatnot, Robinhood had a great quarter. I thought that it was about time to get maybe in and start to buy some of this, especially if crypto is going to go. There is crypto obviously trading on Robinhood. They always do talk about it. Breakout again here. I like this stock, upgraded today, as Adara just mentioned. So if we're going to look at Robinhood, I wrote down 1850 as a break. So that's right here, looking to go higher. Why not? So here's the 20-minute chart. Here's 1850. This goes again back to last week. Let's see if we can break that, right? Let's get going. So I like Robinhood. I think you do it. You get up to $20 before you have to really worry about it. I think it's a great swing trade. I think there's some great opportunities here with Robinhood today, taking out 1850 to the long side. So for me, that is a stamp of approval and hopefully a smoking trade that will eventually bring down some of this. Fingers crossed. You never know what's going to happen here with trading, but I do like that one. And again, thank you for the nice comments in the chat. I'll be back here for a while now, I think. I don't know the next time I have some days off. Brendan has a couple of days off coming.
Brendan's gone for
I think
he has a couple
4 months. Oh, a couple weeks.
You know what? When we go back to the desk, Brendan should tell everyone his plans. I am off on Wednesday, but that's because I'm moving into the last cast before the air cast.
Nice.
So it's not the last cast, but I get a cast for 2 weeks at the 90-degree angle, and then then if that goes well, I'm in an air cast. And once I'm in an air cast, the rehab starts, and I got to get walking again. That's what it's all about. I just want to be moving, man. But Brandon, where are you going on vacation for 2 weeks that everyone's gonna be jealous about?
I'm sorry. Let's jump right into the market here. We're laughing at Elon, so we'll talk about it. But coming up.
I'm ready to go, Brendo. All right, 53.70, guys. That's where we close out on Friday. We're really working our way up into that 5,400 area, but that's not where we're looking to encounter resistance. Funny enough, the double bottom that we have here as a possible area of resistance is at 54.50. So let's see if we can clear 5,400 first. If we can, we're looking right at that 54.50 area. To support, we're looking at 53.25. That is the consolidation area top from last week.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you go down to the description of this video and look for the link for the watch list. Enter your email address. You get that sent right to your inbox every single day for absolutely nothing. It's free. Go do it right now. Let's talk Tesla. Top of the list this morning. It's not really doing a heck of a lot, but interesting story. Quietly over the weekend, Tesla removed the base model Cybertruck from the website. So you can no longer order the cheapest version, the rear-wheel drive version of the Cybertruck. That was the one that was $60 US. So the base version that you can now buy or order is $100,000 USD.
Yeah, Brendo, and it's a lot more expensive on this side of the border. We got the pricing last week as finally deliveries on this side of the border are starting to come in. You're seeing that on social media as well, or people are starting to sell their spot in line for the Cybertruck, $2,000 or $3,000 depending. We'll have to keep an eye and see if this moves markets.
Any thoughts, guys, for Tesla coming up today?
Last week, after the big bounce that we saw on Monday, on Tuesday, had a stop order for a long break on Tesla that never happened through 04. And then Wednesday was set up the exact same way. The only difference was on Thursday and Friday, it just never got close to it. But we're right back above the 200 level, we're at the $200 level. So it's just the same thing as last week. You had the big recovery. You never broke through that resistance that held the entire week here on Tesla. So if it goes this time, just want to be long. So I think it's going to be relatively simple when we come to the chart for this one, Fabian. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it breaks 04. It's got to go. And the good is this is like the Apple one where if you broke last week's high, you had room till the previous Friday close. So there's like a gap fill in there at 08. With Apple, it was 214 break, and there was room to 220 for a bit of a gap fill. And I think it's a similar thing here with Tesla. You've got the 204 from last week, and then you have a nice quick little like $4 range right until the previous week's close. So that we'll be looking at for Tesla, but it never broke last week and sat there waiting for it to do so. Hopefully we get it this week. And as I said, the other EV name that I would be looking at, I shouldn't say worth looking at, it's just if we have a strong day and Rivian wants to get back to 15, seemingly there was a lot of selling being done at that price and a lot of fail breaks at 15. If we see that price again, I'm looking for a reversion on Rivian. It's just, I think that was one of the missed opportunities last week was some of the stocks that recovered and then just had waves of selling. And this was a clear one. Like it would break 15 and trap people and then flush back in. So Rivian would be a sell if we see 15.
Oh, man. Yeah. So we're lucky enough to get out some Rivian at 18 in the PA, which was nice. Okay. So right here, I already talked about this earlier when Randy was here, surprised us and came as soon as we started talking about Tesla. But this 203 break, I think I like the stock here. The only problem is, and I just kept saying that, we still have a little bit of time to go, but we're still flat on this name. Market's a little bit up. I would have liked this a little bit better if we were a little closer to 203. So let's just see if it gets going. I mean, the fact that Tesla can move is an understatement. I mean, we've seen this name even just on Friday, right? 196 bottom, opens up 196. By the time 10 o'clock hits, you're up to 201-ish. So that's $5 right there, right? Immediately. I think we could get $3 early, then go that extra $2. But it does fall back in and give you a lot of opportunities. Every single day, there's movements on Tesla right off the open, right? I mean, I wasn't even here to look at this, but there's 196 down to 192 on Thursday, right? This morning here, again, the same kind of move right off the open, 200 up to 204. So that's kind of that level there that we're talking about before hitting that and then dropping down $6 or $7. So very, very violent opens for Tesla. But if you can get it right and the day will carry, then I think I like the stock. To be more safe with this play, though, if you really want to get it, because 203 is not here now. That was a play that I thought we could hit during the pre-market. It doesn't look like it wants to get there. So if you want to be right on this, you could just get a lot more aggressive and take this area right here, 201. I think a 201 pre-market break now, I think, is in play for Tesla. And then you could use a 199 bottom. So it's $2 worth of risk. So if your risk is $300, you take 100 shares or so, risk it with some slippage, judge it like that. Because I think $2 upside comes easier than $2 downside for Tesla if we break 201.
We're never going to go bankrupt. So
yeah, good point.
Robinhood, guys, back to the upside here this morning. I just saw a note here. Jeff Pinner just announced as new Chief Technology Officer at Hood. So a little bit of a volume alert just went off there for Hood, gapping higher this morning. Pretty good week last week for Robinhood across the board, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's talk some crypto, as we said early on. Trying to get back higher here for some of these ETFs. Bitcoin already back to the upside. Big week last week, gets it back to around that 60K mark.
Yeah, Brendo, there was a net outflows, as I mentioned at the top of the show on Friday for both the BTC spot ETF and ETH. BTC saw about $90 million flow out of that, with the most coming out of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, likely because of fees. ETFs for ETH losing about 15 and a $750 million. There was increased open interest in BTC, so I have to keep an eye on that. It's likely a precursor for volatility, but there is this headline too, Fabian. Marathon Digital looking to raise about $250 million in a private note sale. If you look at them right now, they're down about 4 2/3%, so the market not liking this look, Brendo.
Yeah, I mean, if you run through some actual stocks here, just noticing Nvidia popping up here in front of me as well, but if you run through some actual stocks right now, these are looking pretty strong relatively.
I'm looking at CleanSpark and MAR in particular for some of those crypto names here. And CleanSpark, it looks very, very similar to the relative weakness I'm seeing in MAR. So if you don't gain that 60,000, you got the gap from like last week. Everything to me started with where did they close on Friday on that dump, and were you able to fill in the gap all the way? This is a name that didn't. You can see what happened at $13 there. You look over at Mara. And Mara is a similar story. Like Mara gets to 18, actually breaks above Friday's high, and then the second it's trying to hold above it, then fail the same level. So that's an 18, almost like a sell zone. And I look over at the Coinbase, which is why I keep coming back to Coin. Like Coin, while getting to 200, and I'm not saying it dumps every time it got there. There was one dump and a couple of pullbacks, just a little bit stronger in terms of holding the higher low. Like this is more of a, let's hold a consolidation, then let's consolidate even higher into the top. So if one of these looks primed in the crypto space for breakout, it just seems like Coinbase, it's a little more clear. It's the same high all week long. It's higher lows going into it, as opposed to this like jump around mess that I see in Mara and CleanSpark as well. And then when you look over at Bitcoin, this is a 15-minute. I can go to get rid of that, and let's go to a 1 hour on BTC. Like it's been pretty clean structure. Like last week, the recovery, 60,000 support and a dip, and then it breaks, and then you got resistance. So if we break out the 60,000, I'm going to want some long ideas, and it's got to be Coinbase through that $200 level. It just sticks out like a sore thumb as relatively strong. And if we fail underneath, I mean, any of those mining names look relatively weak to join a trend.
All right, I'm going to keep it as simple as possible here. We're talking about Robinhood at the beginning. I like it again. This is a name that's on the sticky note. I really like this breakout here. It's holding higher. It's up 2%. I think it goes. I thought their quarter was great. Huge opportunity. Like I didn't, looking back at the charts, it's nice to sit back here and look at the charts, your proper spot. And it's just like, this was just, to me, one of the better buys. We'll see if we can get back down there. There's a lot of names that could still move. I mean, I don't think, like I said, the NASDAQ is not healthy right now. Neither is the market. So I feel like this could come back into play here at some point, but I really like that 16 for a play if we can get long back in there. But for me, for right now, I like this 1850 breakout here. So up and back in, right? Trending the last 3 days, straight upside here, looking to break this level. And I think if it does, I don't know what stops it until 19. So that's 50 cents for sure. And then there's 1950, and then there's 20 is your next level. So for me, I'm pretty aggressive. I actually already have the order in to take it. So I don't want to take it in the pre-market, and I'd rather not get filled right at 9:30. But if I do, I do, and I'll probably hold it back to this 50-period moving average, which is 18 flat or so. So I really like Robinhood here. I don't know, Neil was mentioning last week how the trading was. I don't know how it went, or if it was long holds or quick scalps or whatever. But I'm back, and I'm doing what I've been doing, and that's going to be hopefully making calls. And this is one right here, 1850 for the long. This is not if this happens, when that happens. This is a trade that I'm taking. So you want to take it with me? That's fine. 1850, I like that long break. I like the talk. I like the quarter. I like the upgrade. And even better, I like that we've got Brendan and Sharif ready to rock and roll over there again. So let's go over Disney. Is it a long? I mean, if I keep somehow paying this ridiculous amount of every month. Oh, I'm watching The Bear, by the way. So, Ramin, look, I like the bear and everything like that, but I really feel like season 1 and season 2 is a little better than this season 3. Is there season 4? Because right now we're on season 3. There's a lot of personal stuff happening in there, which is great. But let's get back to the restaurant. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So I don't know how many seasons there are, but the Bears slowed down a little bit for me right now. And Disney, they're upping their price as well. So, so Fabian's got the agree on that one as well. So, all right, we'll go talk about Disney, but let's hear from the pros.
Yeah, they need to pay for this. Came out over the weekend. Plans for billions of dollars in theme park expansion specifically, and also some cruise line action going to be a part of this as well. I mean, not a huge reaction here this morning as far as the stock is concerned. It's basically flat. Did pop up initially this morning, but interesting concept coming off their last earnings report.
Yeah, it is interesting, Brendo, because their parks experiences actually did poorly this time around. It had been doing very well the last couple of years as people were stuck at home with the pandemic and wanted to get out. So that outperformed now. I guess the money's drying up and there's not as many people going, so they're looking to expand into that. Separately, Deadpool and Wolverine, surpasses $1 billion worldwide over the weekend. Apparently a good movie. Macquarie, though, not impressed, cutting the price target down from 107 to 94. But
I haven't seen it yet, have you?
No.
Yeah.
I heard it's really good, though.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it looks hilarious.
Oh, I guess I don't like it.
Well, I'm excited to watch it.
What looks?
I was talking about Deadpool versus
Deadpool versus Wolverine or whatever.
Wolverine. I'm excited to see. I think they're doing a smart thing in terms of getting some guaranteed coin by making a bunch of, sequels, because they've announced that you're already getting Moana 2, and then they're going to do Toy Story 5 and Frozen 3. So those are the kind of things that'll actually get them some cash. At the end of the day, it doesn't look the best, but remember, there was this fail break on Thursday, breakdown, I should say, fail breakdown on Thursday on Disney that managed to hold out. So you made another bottom, so you had the Monday bottom, and then you had the Thursday bottom, and it's holding this higher low. It's pretty clear. If it can get back above the Wednesday lows, that's right here, and hold maybe above the 87, it would look a little bit more healthy. That said, if it pops back to 89, that was that previous support level. So it needs to hold above 87 to get bullish, but then right when you get to 89, that's a bit of a top. I like a few other names that are going to be better. I got Palantir on the mind. I got Tesla, Coinbase on the mind. I got Nvidia, which we haven't talked about, and Apple on the mind there. But Disney, I think it's pretty key if it can hold 87 today after making a bit of a double bottom last week. It hasn't been a good-looking trend. Just looking for indications of a long, and unless it's above 87, I'm not that bullish on it.
I'm not bullish at all on Disney. We'd actually talked about this and got out. We were getting out on the way up, and every day it seemed like we were getting the worst price, because then it just kept opening up higher and higher and higher. And then eventually we did get something around 122 and change, but we're still holding some of this as it comes all the way back down. I mean, as the long-term position, I don't hate it because of the levels that we're at. I mean, you can pull up a chart here on Disney and see that, these levels are sort of in the right pocket here, but this is not a name that I like. Too political for me. Spending billions of dollars on a theme park, I don't like that. It's already way too expensive to go there, in my opinion. But again, flat on the day. You get into $85 again, maybe a buy. But you can't buy things you're not confident in buying. The thing is, we have written on here Amazon. We won't even get to Amazon. Amazon break. I really like that one with some credit card talk. Everything is Amazon. This whole freaking world is Amazon, it seems like these days. And now I feel like you're going to take this 170 and just blast higher on AMZN right here. I can get into buying this name. I could get into buying dips on Amazon down into here, 166, 167. So, if this drops $1, I'd much rather buy a $170 name that drops $1 than an $86 name that's dropping $1 that I have no confidence in. So I'm going to pass on Disney right now. I'm going to let it settle down. I'm not going to trade it. I'm not going to buy this dip or nothing. I'm going to wait for Disney probably to get above 90 where we were talking about, and then that could be a play at that point. But for me right now, hands off. Many more fish to fry, I feel like, today.
Starbucks just broke downside here this morning. There was that note after the close on Friday of activist investor action. I was just trying to see if there was anything new here, but I'm not finding anything. 77 was acting as a bit of a pivot there, just broke down to 76.50. I mean, volume is not impressive on this so far this morning, but a huge move after the close on Friday.
Yeah, Starboard kind of with the same idea here as Elliott Management. They want to take an activist role and looking basically to invest in that. So the size of the stake here by Starboard remains undisclosed. We know that Elliott took a big position in July. They're seeking a board seat. We're going to have to see if they have to fight for that. Specifically, it's the China sales and the world sales here that are of concern to these guys. So we'll have to see how it goes here.
It just popped up in front of me. So CNBC is reporting Elliott talking settlement, citing sources. Again, that's from CNBC. So that was that break downside. So Elliott talking settlement from CNBC, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Starbucks feels just like last week. I don't know. We'll see what we get with Starbucks. I'm looking at it, and it might have been set up for a breakout, but as you just mentioned, it's suddenly pulling right back into 76 on that Elliott headline. So it was setting up like you could go right back and break out a 78 level. You look at it on the daily chart, that's 78 in there. It's trying to break a trend, and now you're failing right back under it. So that doesn't look all that great. And let the volume come into this, and let's see how it settles down. Because, yeah, it did just make a bit of a move down like 70, 80 pennies, but on relatively light volume on Starbucks. So it looked all the world like this could have been like a 78 breakout at some point today. But with that drop, I'd say those bets are off for me.
All right. Yeah, we heard from Starbucks there. It was not Standpoint. There's another activist position there on Friday as well. Look, I mean, Again, up 2%. I'm trying to play relative strength versus weakness. This is a strong name here today, but you could see this little gap down there, down to 76 and change. Let's see if it can hold 75. That's the next play for me. I bought Starbucks there at $72. We bought it live on the show when we were talking with, not live on the show, but, or no, this one must have been, this was 74. Must have been Nike 72. What is Nike at right now? But anyways, both these stocks roughly the same price. Anyways, I like this name down here in and around this area. It hasn't really performed that well though. It's bouncing off the 50-period moving average, looking lower. So I almost feel like it might be worth taking some profit up here near $80. So what goes up must come down, and it looks like Starbucks right now still haven't got it figured out. All these activists, Elliott, Starboard, all this kind of stuff, taking positions in it because management's just not doing their job, and they want to get in there and see if they can correct some of these mistakes, right? Losing at the stores, not opening as many right now. China, obviously, a little bit of a problem for Starbucks. So let's wait to see what can happen. I mean, it's still a staple. I think people will buy this name at some point, but I don't know if that point is right now. So down to $72 again. I think Starbucks probably gets down there. So, yeah, maybe not the greatest dip buy opportunity yet.
All right, let's go on to Eli Lilly. We mentioned it early on. I was just counting here. There's probably 4 or 5 different positive notes from analysts this morning, 2 days in a row to the upside to end last week, trying to make it 3 here, now at $909.
Yeah, Deutsche Bank analyst James Shinbrendo upgrading this one from a hold to a buy. You wonder why he had it as a hold. For a nice price target increase too, quite aggressive, from $725 to $1,025, citing Q2 strong earnings exceeding expectation, boosted confidence, obviously, in a volatile market, the company's high growth potential, and apparently low stock price relative to earnings is very attractive to this analyst, so I have to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, still waiting for the reverse split announcement here for LLY.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point you're going to get a reverse split. Is that the
rumor is?
I mean, if it gets to like $1,000, I think it's kind of low-hanging fruit, and it seems like it's on its way there. Like, as we keep saying, it's not always the most obvious day trading stock because of the spread, the way that it opens up. But if you are trading this name, the 850 level and the way it did this at even dollar levels was unbelievable. And I know we were talking about this with Ryan Faluna, and he was all smiles over the 850 in both directions on Thursday and Friday. Like 850 shorted underneath, and then a breakout up and above that key price. Looks obvious. So maybe it's almost as obvious. High, low, that's 880 change. So that high turns into the low again, that seems like a pretty good level there for Eli Lilly. But I'm not likely to be trading it, and we only have 5 minutes to go here, so I just wanted to quickly make a note about it. We didn't talk any chips here. Just very quickly on Nvidia. Nvidia 108.80 or 109. Take your preference as to that level. It's a Friday high. Sorry, last Friday around the close, and then double top here last week Monday, and then midweek. That's 108.80. If we break 109, I think this one has a gap fill. 112 is a key level. First things first. I mean, it's probably a pop and fade for me early, just because we haven't actually broken that level, and we'll see what happens here. But Nvidia, that 108.80 to 109 zone has been a big wall of resistance. If we're able to climb through it today, I don't mind reversing through the 109. But we waited all week for it, and then the short was the way to go off that level. Only got it actually, no, we got it twice, but should have had it every time.
So for me, we've talked about this a little bit here today. Amazon, with only 5 minutes to go, we can check out these imbalances that just dropped through. So let's just have a quick look here. Yeah, there's Nvidia with a buy, so it's probably, I mean, Neil just talked about it. So Palantir's there as well with a little bit of a buy. There goes Nvidia 106.50, taking out day's high right now and looking to push those levels with only 4 minutes to go now. AMD, on the other hand, is a sell. I didn't really look at these two names for levels, but definitely, I mean, I told you last month, number one stock was TQQ. Number two stock was Nvidia. So we'll be looking over there. And I think AMD might have been up there as well. One stock that we didn't do that well on, because there was one day I think we got crushed, was our worst day, I think, was on Amazon. But that's fine. That was earlier on in the month. And I'm going to have these days. But this is the thing. You know, it's holding higher, trying to go. Now up 1%. Now breaking a little bit, now higher. So we don't have to worry about too many of these imbalances coming through. I like this 170 break. I already have this trade in. So if this breaks 170, I'm pretty excited to grab that long. Obviously, I don't want to see it break immediately. But if it does, then it does, and we'll try it. You know, it could be a risky share size thing, so we'll see about that one. And then Apple. So Apple's kind of pulling back in. I wrote down 215 because I was really impressed with Apple here over the last couple of days. Looking at the 20-minute chart, just starting to inch its way up. Here's the 50-period moving average on the 20, and it's resting around 214.50. So I thought if we can get a dip buy in into 215, and I even wrote down on here on the sticky note, you can go find it at Trader TV, Sean, that Apple could go lower than this 215 area. And that's kind of the stuff I'm talking about, down into here to 214, 214.50. So those are some levels that I'm looking at right here early. The trades I have through is going to be, let's see where Robinhood is right now. I like 1850, so that didn't break yet. But that could be a volume issue on Robinhood early. Could be a lot of volume going through there. And I know Neil was mentioning Palantir as well. And what a week that name had, taking out 52-week highs, made that move down to $22 when the world was completely falling apart, apparently. And then, boom, just blasted right back up. Like, that's $8. Like, that's 30% or so. Like, I guess depending on what exactly that bottom was there. But nice move upside right now. All right, let's go. We have an education spot every single day at the midday show. And let's go find out from Sharif what that's all about.
We're continuing with our earnings lesson this week, Sean. Today, specifically, we'll talk about trading earnings after hours. If you're into that kind of thing, make sure to check that out with Adair and I on How to Trade at 11.
All right. I remember, and Sharif will know this, he was trading earnings after hours when we started here. So,
it's true. It's true.
Good opportunity for that.
You mentioned Palantir. Well. Just very quickly, I mean, Palantir was a great continuation play on earnings. This seems like it's consolidating 30. It's a monster level on the daily and the weekly if you go really far back. And that's why we were sort of trading long into the 30. The break was only okay. It eventually got to $30.30. You have the same high in the aftermarket that you did on Friday. If it gets through 30.50, look in just continuation breakout. But if we can't hold the 30 level, that's that first line in the sand. You got to wait for 29 even. I think we just had, the imbalances just must have come out.
The NASDAQ just got hit there.
Yeah, I didn't see anything big. Palantir's a small buy out there. And then Key, Scotiabank with a stake in Key, there is small buy as well. So, yeah, the NASDAQ just turned a little bit going back in 18.6, but not because of the imbalances, it doesn't look like. So when we're watching Palantir off the open, Apple 214, that was the breakout price on Friday, where it cleared out and went all the way up to 16. That's where I'd be looking to jump on the bid for a bit of a dip buy. Coinbase 200 doesn't seem to want to get there just yet. But it's a wild start to the week. Trying to figure out what the culprit was to turn that market. It was right at 928, so usually you think there's going to be an imbalance that did it. But absolutely nothing. There isn't a single big cap tech name on this imbalance list so far, with only 1 minute to go until the Monday open. Yeah, Palantir is dropping back into the 30 right away. Even Nvidia just came in off of its highs.
Some profit
so it looks like there's going to be some dip buying, it seems, going
really
into this
short
open.
ideas. Yeah, Tesla's down to 198 right now. So remember, Tesla was weak, and we were thinking like, okay, if it was going to be opening near that 203 level, that would be a good break and maybe choose 201. But it actually went the other way and broke through the pre-market low right here of 199. So you're still in that pocket for a trade. But for right now, Tesla is definitely not as big as we think. And then we had the carryover trade in the yen. We didn't even talk about that. TQ's coming back in. It looks like the market could turn red right off the open. So we will keep an eye on Tesla. But we still like the long, looking for some short ideas. With only a couple seconds to go, here we go, Adara, 2 and 1. All righty then. Welcome everybody to the show. It's glad to be back and glad to be here with everybody trading one more time. I do want to watch out for Robinhood. We did talk about liking that stock. We're actually now into something. We just got hit on Amazon on the bid. So Robinhood looks like it wants to take 1850. We'll check that out. Nice little dip down in Amazon. Let's just see what happens now. We are long AMZN here.
Wow, Nvidia just ripped up to 107 and Palantir with a huge breakout move to the upside. So here's Nvidia ripping, but Palantir just went to 30.60 in a single shot to the upside. Wow, that was a pretty big reversal. Apple's not doing much of anything just yet, but let's get over to Palantir. Just realize we're still on the Nvidia chart there. That's the spike on Palantir, absolutely clearing out that 30.50. I thought we were going dip buy. The way the market was coming in there, and then all of a sudden you get that crazy candle. We'll have to let this one settle down a little bit. Palantir already starting to go.
All right, so we have a position on right now. It'll be a good one. It's Amazon. We like the long, so we're long right now at 44s. It's at 74. 30 cents in the money. Here it goes. Higher, higher, higher right now for Amazon. We do not have any outs yet. We're waiting at 89s right now. You know what? We have enough shares. We'll get a piece out here if we can get it into the 70s. Oh, a little bit of a fade back there on Amazon. So that was nice. It was 30 cents in the money. Now we're back to flat. Let's see if it can hold that as Amazon coming back in. Look at the NASDAQ though. Nice move up. Right back in again for Amazon and the NASDAQ. So we'll have to pay attention to see if there's anything else moving around right now. We did like our Robinhood trade. That is right here, right now. I still like an 1850 break. Let's see if that one will work out for us. You know, hopefully it doesn't hit and take it out. But right now it's 932. So I feel, although, you know, many of you might be laughing at 932, it's still really early, and it is. But let's just wait to see what happens there with Robinhood. Now we've dug into Amazon. This may not work again, so we're going to wait for 166.50 or so. If we drop into this area, I'm going to get out. I just would rather regroup on this one and not sit in something and just let it bleed all the way down. We're long right now. It's 27s. So just flat here on Amazon. Let's see if we can work it out. We just took some out there at 20. Let's go Amazon back up to the upside here.
Yeah, it's absolutely flying on PLTR. Wasn't able to get the bids that we wanted. It is what it is, man. You saw those sell imbalances come through. Well, it wasn't sell imbalances. Check that. It was a lack of sell imbalances, but it was just a huge move down in the NASDAQ, or a small one at least. I thought we'd get a 30 dip buy. Instead, we just went flying through. I was able to get picked up on the bid at 50. I was sitting back in here to try and grab some 30, 35s. Got absolutely nothing there on Palantir. Now we're going to 31. We're going to be on VWAP, I think, on Palantir hunt. So if we get anything back into VWAP, wherever that happens to lie, just look for that trend. This thing is absolutely flying. And then here comes Nvidia already at 108. So this is not taking very long. 108.80 was the high last week. That's what we're looking for on NVDA. If it breaks through 9s, I like a long, but 108.80 is the first place where I'm looking for a curl. Adara.
Watch out for Genius Group here, GNS. This one is a penny stock trading on the Amex. The name might be familiar because it did have that pending news halt on Friday before opening back up. They announced a reverse stock split, 1-to-10 split, and also CEO and founder Roger James Hamilton announced that the board has approved up to 10 million shares here for repurchase by the CEO. Some social media attention as well for GNS, so Genius Group. Another day of this one on watch, guys.
All right, man. Thank you, Adara, for that one. Okay, so we just went for a ride on Amazon, man. I mean, that was really, really nice. 167.80 we just got filled. So, I mean, we're putting some damage back on the board here today. We're back in the seat, back in charge. Let's see what winds up happening right now with Amazon. Trying to dip by some of this. But again, the market is not going I like that 108. There goes Nvidia through 108 right now. We'll have to watch out for that one. I did dip by Robinhood a little bit there. It did come in, trying to watch out for that 50-period moving average. Not sure if I like that or not. I was going to give it around 1820 or so if this was a fail spot. So if we do fall back in, we'll buy some more 1820s. But for now, we're long down here in 32, looking to see if Robinhood wants to extend out just a little bit more. Apple's at 218, or sorry, just fell off 218.
Yeah.
You know, it was there. It was, and it just came back. Oh, sorry, on its way. 217.50 right now. The name I was actually looking at was Nvidia at that 108. So there goes Nvidia. And here goes Robinhood. Let's go. Put that money on the board. I mean, we're back, baby. This is what we do every single day here on Trader TV Live. And now we are longer on Robinhood as well. So, all right, let's start to get something out here. Robinhood starting to go for your boy.
We're all the way through 31.11, 31.12 here. It's absolutely flying up there on Palantir. We're not going to get VWAP for a while. Let it calm down. It just failed a 31 break. I got out at the 90 level, and it looks like it's just absolutely hammering to the upside. So got to let this one calm. The $30.50 level. I don't know if we get back there again the way this is going. And Nvidia, as you say, through that 108 level. I got Palantir on the brain. That's why I just said 30. But he's all right. Don't chase. Nvidia getting very close to that 108.80. So you're getting to the $0.50. This is the only thing I liked for a fade was right in front of that 109 here on Nvidia. So we're getting pretty close. Just have to be patient. It's not there, but the way this market is screaming, let it get to the price. Feel like you do not want to compromise if you're going against the grain here. Palantir, we just have to let that sucker calm down because I'm not buying any of those highs. Already up 4 points.
$4 or 4%? Points is dollars or percent?
Percent.
Percent, okay, yeah, okay, wow. All right, well, we got $1 right now on Amazon as it just rips up there. Huge trade, man. It is going to be my trade of the day. But what's not falling out, or what's coming back in a little bit there, we were able to get something out upside for Robinhood, but that is falling back in. So all of the money that we've made here on Amazon is kind of disappearing here with Robinhood. But right now, it's a great trade for me on Amazon. Let's get some more out here as we continue to ride. So there it goes. 167 dip by, all the way up there to 168. It goes all the way to the 200-period moving average. Now, remember, just like we said, man, I mean, we could put on big shares, take big hits, but we're not going to take huge hits. So we're going to watch out here for a Robinhood fall back in breaking through 18.15 or so. We'll probably get out of Robinhood. So let's wait to see what happens. Good couple outs there on the top for Amazon, but the whole market's pulling right back in. So, you know, pretty muted morning. Damn it, I knew I should have stayed on vacation. My bad, guys. What's up, Adara?
Be aware of B. Riley Financial here, RILY. This one just opened up after a halt, falling pretty swiftly here off the open. They announced their preliminary Q2 financial results, seeing a net loss here of $435 million to $475 million. We also have Bloomberg reporting that the company is continuing to face this probe from the U.S. with regards to their risk disclosure, so some ongoing issues, sending RILY down more than 50% right now, guys.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. B. Riley is in a little bit of trouble. That's not the first time we've heard those guys be in a little bit of pain. So 108.5, we just tagged on, or it just tagged on Nvidia on the way back in, got some 33s.
Wow.
Palantir is still, my goodness, Palantir. Anyways, if we get 108s and VWAP here at 107.5, so we're in our first salvo at Nvidia. It got pretty close to that 108.80, getting to the 50s, and then pulling back for now. Palantir, and again, and I hate to harp on the name, but it's so strong right now. It just gave you a little bit of a test of the 31. So this is the first real red candle. I mean, 8 minutes in. So this is the first real chance to trade off of VWAP and see how it reacts. It's about $30.85 that we're looking at here. So I do want to play off this if we get a VWAP bounce, but Nvidia got to the short level, so we had to get into that one. Let's go back over to Nvidia. If it gets to VWAP, look for the out there, and then a retrade back up at that high. 108.5 to 109. That's where we want the short on NVDA. So Palantir coming to the downside. The market is starting to fade a little bit here. I didn't like outside of this Nvidia level, I didn't really have many short ideas. And I'm starting to look for them and I do the same thing I did last week when I'm like, I'm looking for something short. And that was pull up Intel. See if it's still giving you the $20 level. answer is yes, it's still giving you the $20 level. And I mean on the other side. The sellers are still under 20 here on Intel for now.
Yeah, look. Oh, wow. Okay, so we was able to get some more out of Amazon, but we just got a 28 fill there. Okay, now it's up to 38 again. I'm getting a little nervous. I think the right move is down right now, so we are going to try to piece some out here. I'm actually at 47s. I don't know why we keep stopping at 46 here on Robinhood. I'm just trying to get, honestly, get a little piece. We'll take a 45 if we can get it. Just trying to get some outs here, as it feels heavy, right? I mean, the market definitely doesn't want to go. We were up 0.3 or 0.4 at one point, then the market started to fall down in. So we have less than half of our Amazon position left, but that spike up there to 50s, we should have got some more out. So let's see about VWAP, 56 or so on Amazon. It's just, we could be here and the market could rip. And if it does, great. We'll still be holding some of these longs. But if you start to get some of those feels like, hey, man, I've had a great day or something, and I need not see all this disappear, then, yeah, maybe it's time to rethink what your overall thought about the market is, right? And so if Amazon comes back up, I thought I was waiting at 38 or so, 39, so we just missed that fill there. As it comes back up, we'll start to get a little piece out here. There it is. There's our 39 out. Let's see if it now wants to go back up, but starting to piece some out. It's a positive day here. It's almost a trophy day. We just need something to happen with Hood. Right now, we'll get back up to the upside there. Give me those 47s. Did we get it? Yes, we did. Okay, so we got a little more pressure off right now. So again, a week off, pretty tired here, but still putting up the numbers. 35 cents in the money for Amazon. Flat on Robinhood, but up on the day on Robinhood. Up on the day on this stock. We just 2 for 2 so far today. And trying to go. I like that. Again, I know Neil's on Nvidia there, so we'll have a look at that as well. And then Apple, right now, a stock that I thought we liked long is at a long spot right now. Just the market is not giving me those feels, as we just talked about that. So trying to get out of some Amazon so it doesn't turn into a disaster, and watching out for Robinhood, because right now, I mean, the market, I really like that Nvidia short. I think
the market's losing this 18.
I haven't even looked at Nvidia, but if the market's going down, I assume that is too.
Yeah, it's starting to come down, but it's holding out the 107. Look, Nvidia is still up 3% even with this pullback, but this is the NASDAQ just turning red as we speak, breaking this 18.62, an overnight low. We haven't broken 18.6 yet, but it is a green to red story there on the NASDAQ. Palantir just popped back into VWAP and is trying to bounce off of it. So 3080 has been this landing spot twice, first on the fail of 31, and now trying to hold on to VWAP here is Palantir. If it resists 31 even, I do want to scalp some out in front of it. Yeah, it was just sellers at 95. That just went to 94. That just went to 93 a little bit. So I'm going to play this bounce back into the high on Palantir. Maybe not as strong as it was. I mean, the dip, obviously not, maybe not. The dip not nearly as strong as that breakout, as we can see. The market getting very heavy here. So we got one fill there at 93. Feel like we need to be getting something else short. Intel might not get that $20 level. I might have to step down to the pre-market lows on this if I want to be able to grab it. This market is really starting to go into this downside. Palantir making a decent bounce off VWAP, but I want something else that sets up for a short trade, and I'm not really seeing much that I'm in love with. Oh, Nvidia must have tagged that 107. There's Nvidia off 107. I just got out. It's into that breakout price. I'm kind of bullish on this rounding move into Nvidia, so I'm getting out in front of the breakout level, and then we'll move on to the next. I'd rather be shorting something that was already weak. I'll look for confirmation on Nvidia. We didn't quite get to that 109 zone, but we'll take the money and not look a gift horse in the mouth as the market is coming down. So Nvidia worked short, Palantir right back up to 31. The stock was so strong. Should have a look at Shopify as well. Because that was the other super strong continuation play on earnings.
Yeah, Shopify is good, man. Up almost 1% right now. Okay, so look, we're still in these two longs. I don't want to be getting into too many other names right now. We're still in Robinhood. We didn't dip by anything, although it's right here at VWAP. We probably should have got something. Let's put a little something here. In and around VWAP, just in case we're right. And it does want to bounce back up a little bit. So we did average in some more Amazon down there. But again, our average price on Amazon is 89s. So we are out of the money just a little bit right now, 10 cents. Let's see if it can, 10 cents seems so silly on Amazon. But if we're not feeling that great about the market, which we're not, as we talked about, then sometimes getting out of a little bit. I'm going to take 5% out here at 80s. Shopify is very, very strong. So let's see if Shopify and Amazon, maybe, get some of that retail love back here. So let's get going on some Amazon. We're waiting for 166.50, that drop zone there. It's not really anything. Whoops. Oh, that's right. Our charts don't do that. Okay, there it goes. It just came out. I was going to say it's just breaking through the 50-period moving average, right? We want to give it a little bit of love there. But there goes Amazon. So we will slap the fail on that long. We still have a little piece of it, but not that much just to see. Okay, there it goes. So good thing we were able to get out of that one. But there goes Amazon falling back in a little bit more here to the downside as AMZN. So, yeah, that one did not work. The market is... There we go. So again, we weren't here last week, but you're not going to sit on this knife and just watch it fall down. You got to get out of your trades. So right there, that's an out. We'll watch out for Robinhood, and then we got to flip over to some kind of short. Right now, the market does appear to be falling apart. It might just be the NASDAQ you got to go over to.
Yeah, the way the market is going here, you got to find something. I'm trying to pick up the first available bounce on Intel, but I said I would go to Shopify. So very quickly, Shopify broke that big 70 level on the daily and is pulling back in, no hold on the way back. So it just flushed right through VWAP, right through 70 even, and back into Friday's high. So Friday's highs look like the spot here. I still like, Palantir's holding on to 31 for now, and Shop was so strong. I want to give it a chance to hold 69.5 here for some kind of a continuation play. These were really good last week. Just biding your time and trying to ride that trend. As mentioned, I want Intel short, but this is going, yeah, it's really starting to accelerate to the downside without us. Apple's looking okay. That's catching a bit of a bid, but you still have a false breakout with lower highs. I'm going to cancel my 214. I mean, if we get 214, that's $2 from here. There wasn't a dip that far on the open. And Nvidia bouncing off 107 as we speak. So still looking at that 108 level as being 108 half to 109 being the short zone, but it's holding the breakout price. So I get out because this feels like a bullish stock to me. Well, at least it did. And if we're wrong about that, then maybe we have to find ourselves a different short idea there in Nvidia, or at least wait to get the same one over again. Palantir just lost the bid. So we just got out. Oh, no. It just lost that 3080 level. The original break at 3050, good. The dip buy into VWAP, we're able to get a couple of legs out there in front of 31 even, but that's only about 15 pennies. And then you just lost that 3080 level. So thank goodness we're able to just get out of that one. Like I said, I need to find something short, and I'm not finding anything that I absolutely love. I should just double check what's going on in ARM, because I feel like that 120 already gone. Yeah, I said feel like that 120 on Friday, it double tapped 120. Like if you were late to ARM on Friday, it double tapped 120. This time it was a single headshot, and we're right back to 116.
All right, we're going to go over to the TQQs a little bit here and try along, but again, like we were saying, it looks like there's a bunch of headshots everywhere in this market right now. We're long right here at 34.35. We've just been testing it here. Let's wait to see. It could dip out against us. If it breaks this 25 marker, sort of that bottom, we've been getting in and out right now, but if this breaks, we'll be ready. Okay, here it goes. So the market is, it's kind of in this free-for-all territory right now, isn't it? As we continue to fall down in 0.38. And the reason why we say kind of free-falling, I mean, there's not a green candle today, really. I mean, this is back and forth. Like, that's like trying to figure itself out. But once we got a direction, I mean, that very, very bottom right there, maybe. But this candle's not over yet, as you can see. So you're starting to bounce back and forth here with the NASDAQ. We'll just try this. Again, you're at the 200 period, the 50 period right now. Could be a bouncing spot for the NASDAQ. We'll have to zoom out. If this doesn't work, we'll have to start zooming out and looking for maybe something a little more serious right now. But here we go. Let's just start to ease out a little bit of this if we can, back to the upside. We still have some shares on board. So if we're at 48 right now too. Did we just get filled there at 48? I do not think we did. Oh, we did. Okay, good. So there's a couple fills now happening for us on the TQQs. Let's see if we get something out now at 54s. And then we'll go from there. So hopefully the market does find a little bit of a spot there to rebound, and good out for us right there. We are sort of dipping and dodging and diving with Amazon right now. We'll see if that can go somewhere, as that's trying to make a bottom here too at 166. So more shares now. We are finally officially reloaded, and we have our full position now in Robinhood. So let's see what this goes up to. Let's start to get a little pieces out here, especially if this market does climb. But there it is, man, falls right back in. So we did get some outs to the top side for TQQs, but then here's the fall right back in. So yeah.
Apple's holding VWAP.
You got to find a strong name or a really weak one right now.
I mean, Apple's holding VWAP up 0.5%. Nvidia's holding. Nvidia was holding 107, and I was looking for that one to maybe bounce. I don't know if we should have got out of that one. And so if Apple holds VWAP, I want to be long this. It's a couple of higher lows on the stock. It's but the only thing that's staying green and holding on to VWAP as we see. Intel, we're not going to get that short trade in there. And I wanted to go over to Rivian. Okay, so Rivian did that. Obviously, we wanted to short a pop in Rivian this morning. There wasn't one. VWAP looks like it could be holding. Rivian down 3%, not looking fantastic. VWAP sits at 1360. We got locates on this. It's not like we have to pay for shorts, but I'm just going to sit, see if we can't pick up something on the 60 level, and then give it to that other local high on RIVN. A lot of times, like the only two trades I got have both worked, but didn't have short ideas outside of the pop and fade on Nvidia. And I wanted pop and fade on Rivian. Like Rivian, as you can see, all you can do is try to join the trend here if we even get an opportunity. I feel the same way about Intel. Apple's still holding on to VWAP as I look up here. Not that bad. I'd love to see maybe a test underneath and then reclaim it because you're getting some lower highs here on AAPL. This needs to settle down a bit, and then we can get a long over VWAP.
Yeah, we actually got stopped out there of our TQs, but that's okay because the market's trying to rally back upside a little bit for us here. We have a big winner now on Amazon. So that sucks about that TQs trade, guys. Look at that. We're going to be very, oh, look where we got stopped out right at the bottom of that trade. That's insane. Okay. I mean, okay, diamond hands don't have. I told you where we were getting stopped out 40 cents ago. I mean, I think that was a pretty decent call, but you know what, man? No worries. Amazon is in the building right now. So we'll see about this Amazon trade. We just bought those dips. We talked about that, trying to watch out for Amazon. So we'll turn our frown completely upside down. But man, oh man, were we right there, right on that one for that. That was a money-making opportunity right there for the TQs. Man, did we have it. But we don't anymore. So if you don't got it, you don't got it. But let's just make sure that we take 60 cents here, at least on Amazon. And there it goes, right back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. All right. Don't talk to me about Ford Hamster. I'm trying to be in a good mood right now. We'll look at Ford in a minute.
You don't want to look at that.
No, that's why. Just playing around. That's in the long-term portfolios. Every time I look at that thing, I was like, what are we even thinking about? Okay, so there it goes. Wow, we got saved there pretty nicely by Amazon, but this was too bad. We had this trade. We had it. We got stopped out by a couple pennies. This is not a wick out. This is a stop out. We get stopped out when we put on the prices and they hit. So that's a stop out right there. But it was the bottom and it was kind of random. I just didn't want to be stuck in this name. And, you know, based on what I've lost on that stock, very happy with it because didn't want to die with this, right? It's the market. So, all right. Looks like Robinhood, though, will be a death of me here. 18:15 break. We'll be out on Robinhood. That just wants to keep coming back in. There's the 200 period. So watch out now. Robinhood coming in. Adara at the desk.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade? Always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
All right, we're starting to retest back down here. There was a hold just now of VWAP on Apple. It was looking pretty good to break out the top. We got a 17 long, and now you're getting that quick reversal. So we went for a dip buy, not looking like the bid is holding just yet. I want us holding above VWAP and then joining the trend. I do not want to be fighting anything this morning. We'll see what happens next. I'm going to go over back into Palantir just for a second. I still don't have Apple up if it can reclaim that VWAP in there. Palantir, all the way back to that breakout price, it just double tapped 30.50. So 30.5 last week was those highs, held out underneath that pretty much on that 30 break. It was a clean breakout, but the retracement is now starting to lose it. If it can get back and hold this level, it would still be a strong stock. Otherwise, I'm waiting for 30 even when it comes to Palantir. We've already mentioned Rivian to you guys, and then Intel is now pulling back into VWAP as well. VWAP for Intel, it's now 1975. So looking for that play. Apple getting close to back above VWAP. And of course, Palantir, as I just mentioned, this 30.50, already twice it's managed to dip into here. The second it gets back above, I'm looking for the retracement back into VWAP. A little bit of a bounce play. The market's trying to bounce out here, looking for things to start to hold some bids.
Yeah, so we got back in. It looks like we'll try to be, well, we were just positive there again on the TQs. We bought some of those dips as it did fall back in, and we got some out in the 60s there. But let's get some more out here at 57, 58 as we're trying to drop in here a little bit and see what's going on with these TQs. Get going now, back up to the upside. So we do have a decent size on right now for that. So we'll wait and see if we can get it to work for us. That is, of course, this TQQ position. All right, and then Amazon, again, into this level. We'll take some more out up here, again, like this level, for an out if we can get it. So we'll take some more outside. I mean, 166.80, 166.70, pretty good for me, man. We're long at 17s right now. So that's going to be a good trade for us there. And we're just sort of, like, we're not putting anything huge, not doing like too much damage here anywhere. This could be a good trade. Again, bought that dip in the NASDAQ there, trying to see if that will work. We do have Robinhood. We've already lost. We got dumped out a little bit on that, but bought some more. I just didn't want to be completely washed out on that dip. You know, we were washed out of the TQQ trade. We didn't want to do that. We were able to basically get flat now on Amazon by holding some and buying the dip, again, back up to the upside. And buying dips, I feel very responsible about this kind of trading today. And it's pretty simple. I can justify and explain it. We didn't take enough shares that we would get run over if something early like this happened. It allowed us to do what we're doing now, and that is to have, you know, enough risk in our account to be able to do this. Buy these dips, wait for something to happen, and then go, right? We were talking about it when this NASDAQ was in free fall, and it was like, I didn't want to be in something, so we did stop out. We stopped out of Amazon, we stopped out of the TQs. But guess what? The TQs is now positive for us right there. So, you know, you can make a bad trade, or not even a bad trade. That was a bad call on the out. That's all that was. So get back in and trust thyself. And trust thy neighbor that they bring you coffees all the time. And that is for damn sure.
Rivian
this man, Randy.
Rivian's
right
having
here.
some problems right now, Randy. Well,
Every car company.
We're not talking about Ford. Everyone's like, Ford stinks. I'm like, we know Ford is stinking right now. But Rivian, never mind. We'll cancel the short at VWAP on Rivian because Rivian just made another fresh low. It wants 13 even today.
Yuck.
So it's bad, it's ugly, all of that stuff. You throw adjectives out there. I mean, you say what you want. That chart is absolutely speaking for itself and is what it is. But we got Intel off of VWAP. That's churning down to the lows. 19.5 looks like it's going to be in play. We got some 70s or 1969 on Intel as that continues to bleed after its bad earnings play. So the market is still trending into the downside. Went back over to Apple. It held VWAP the first time. We got in. Immediately, the sellers came right back. Then you got this little higher low flowing. So you're actually holding a trend now. So we're going to get right back over to it. You're holding a bit of a trend, steep one, albeit, but if this holds on, I do like the long on Apple as it's been a relatively strong name. So we're going to give this one a little bit of a chance to cook to the upside. With the market bleeding, at least this doesn't look as bad. It's up 0.5%. It's above VWAP. We'll look to see if we can find somewhere to add. We'll scalp the first 40 pennies, and then when we can get something off the bid or VWAP start to hold, we'll mosey on back over to the bid. But tread lightly. The market is absolutely tanking. I shouldn't say tanking, but the market is absolutely falling. And the can't get Rivian short. Probably should have been more aggressive in terms of finding another chip name to be short before going to Intel because we missed ARM, and the ARM 120 has been a big, big level. Gonna have to pay for locate, see if we can't get VWAP on this one.
All right, so the market is, really starting to turn downside a little bit right here. So it's a good thing that we were able to get out of that TQQ to the upside. But let's try it one more time here, get a little bit more with this 58.30, just a nice little drop down in there. We're trying to play some of the volatility, so if we can scalp it out, we will try to do some of that. We've been doing that as well over here with Amazon. Every time it comes up, we're getting some out. We talked about that. But in this market, now we'll turn red now on these TQs, and again, try to find something. Is there a bouncing spot here at all before we start to really get involved here and just flip over to the short at some point? This is probably a good level, man, 58.80. Like if we can get anywhere back up to there, that's going to be a decent level to get out. I mean, that's 58.40. We already have some orders to get out as we come back up to the upside in and around there. So, oopsies. Just making sure that we don't get filled there. And looking at that. So, yeah, I don't really see I mean, that little wick bottom there, I mean, I wasn't here for any of this, so I don't know, but it was just midday, so it's not a big deal. That's 57.90. I feel like that would be an area into here, but if you go lower than that, I mean, I feel like we're just sort of picking at levels.
Palantir's at 30 already.
Palantir 57.50. I might just play off this break, man. If we break lower than now, let's just tap out like 57.90. Yeah, let's get out of the way if this breaks 57. And we were nowhere. I shouldn't say we're nowhere near there. We're not there right now. But yeah, TQ's down 7 cents. Robinhood keeps on dancing there. What is this price? We're long at 13s. That keeps on hitting 25s. So let's put an offer there to get something out if we can. We are at 28, so we'll put a 23 at 28, and then a 35 and see if we can get out of that one. As the TQs are trying to battle here.
Yeah, speaking of battle, $30 even already happening here on Palantir. So that was a huge retracement off of VWAP right back into that key price on Friday. We closed at 30.01 on Palantir. So I just grabbed 6s. If it can hold the line at that 30 level, we'll see if we can catch some on the way up. Let's go to Adara. What's happening now?
Both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ going from slightly green on the day to both red by about 0.33% to start, which should be a pretty interesting week with regards to economic data. We do have PPI prints coming through on Tuesday and CPI coming through on Wednesday. In terms of names moving today, a lot of it's going to be some smaller names making some larger moves. One name to be aware of here with that in mind is going to be B. Riley Financial, RILY. They did release their preliminary Q2 financial results, seeing a net loss here of $435 to $475 million for the quarter, with Bloomberg reporting that they are continuing to face this U.S. probe with regards to their risk disclosures. We also have here Hawaiian Electric down about 20% on the day. They actually reported their earnings on Friday after the close, missing EPS estimates, but having an increase in sales year over year, and saying that they see roughly $1.7 billion loss with regards to charges from the Maui wildfires. Last but not least, one Mag 7 name to be aware of here, Tesla, TSLA, down about 2.5%. Their non-foundation Cybertruck being removed or not able to be ordered from the website right now, though there is a lead engineer confirming that it has not been canceled. It's just not currently available and will be available to order later. So TSLA on watch with the Cybertruck catalyst, guys.
All righty.
Suffice to say, Tesla didn't make that breakout that everyone was looking for. And
oh, yeah, it's down to 195, someone just said.
Yeah, forget about that 04. Like I said, the new position was a 30 trying to hold on Palantir. It's doing its best. I got 06s. Local bottom is 98 currently. So consolidation breakout was about here at 30.25. Want to make sure we're getting some out there. I like Rivian short. I can't pretend that we like Tesla to the south side. Yeah, but it's absolutely tanking. You do have some levels coming in here for Tesla. Load. As you're about to get to, check that. You are already at Friday's bottom, that 195. If we lose this, you got to wait till 190 before you find any significant price levels. Apple, still but the only thing that's holding on to the strength that I want to see is Apple holding on to VWAP. We did get out the first time, but now you're churning to the upside here on Apple, trying to get back to highs on Apple. Like Apple, the only thing that looking like is trying to get back to highs. Everything else just a bleeding story here in the overall market. If it can get up to that 218, I think it's got room to 220 today. But got to be concerned with the thing that we're long that's at the bottom, and that's Palantir at that $30 level. Lots of selling going on here on PLTR. Back into this 30.
Boom.
There we go.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah.
Hold it.
Let's hold Palantir. Let's hold. Right now, $1.20 we just took, or $1.10 right now on Amazon, as Amazon rips all the way back up to 167.20. So that'll be a positive stock. The other thing too is the TQs just went for a run, man. Went for a run. We just got 56s there, 54s, whatever that price. Well, right here, 54s. And we're coming in right now to a level that I thought, you know, if we got up to here and we mentioned it, maybe we should start to empty said clip. So let's do some of that now at 60s if we can get there. I mean, this would be a fine level for us. Obviously, 67, 68 would be the best, but trying to pick tops, bottoms, and exact levels has been a nightmare today for me anyways. But there it goes. Nice move to the upside. Been a real tough day around here. And I want to say, again, thank you to Adam, who I talked to. He was really talking about appreciating sort of that kind of talk when we tell about, how traders are doing and things like that. It hasn't been a banger day, but we're going to be here right now. We're right where we need to be for our trading here. We're going to be red because we're holding on to some of these names. We did take a hit on Robinhood. We did take some shares there and got dropped out once it broke that low right there. We were able to buy some back, and it's really nice where this name's going now. But unless, who knows? I'm offering 35s right now. If this gets going, then great. But I'm going to start to take some out and probably just bite the bullet a little bit here on Robinhood. Don't necessarily need to get this back to green, but really fought this down low. We missed again the stop by pennies. We said 18.15. That's where the 200 period is. The low of the day is 18.12. So we got stopped out of the big boy. We bought back about half of that, which is what we're starting to now take out. So, so far so good here as we continue to go. I took a little bit out of Robinhood there at the top. Still have this. Amazon is Amazon is this. Amazon goes. I know Neil's talking about Palantir as well, but this one's really starting to go. What's up? Hey, Davis. Yeah, it is. You can hashtag real. That's why we're here. But there it is. A nice move to the upside right now as we keep on going, man. Keep on going. Amazon $1.30 now in the money and going, right? And so a positive name here. We'll watch out to see where Amazon goes. What about 167, 65-ish? Let's put an offer there. Let's go, Amazon. Oh, my. Turn that frown upside down today with this stock alone right there. Sometimes, Neil, it just takes, one trade. You get right back in. GameStop is strong? I don't know.
There were some squeeze names last week, and I think there was like Beyond Meat did some pretty stupid things on no news, so there were some squeezes. I haven't looked at this GameStop at all. I haven't looked at DJT. I know there was news over the weekend. Well, they had their earnings on Friday. But there's a big attempt here to hold this, to pressure this Palantir into 30. I can tell you it got up to 30.20, got a couple of legs out, was sitting right here for one more fill in front of the 20 level, and the sellers are starting to get control again of this stock. So we're able to get half out on that bounce. It was just a breakout trade, a VWAP trade, and now down around that 30. And it looks like it wants to lose that $30 level. Apple did not quite get to the highs yet, but it is now churning off of VWAP. So there's another hold of VWAP. If we can get any kind of dip back in underneath that 17, we're looking for the reload on Apple. Probably got to be at least a little bit. Here we go. Nvidia's getting right back up to the top as well. So Nvidia going right back into this 108.5. Looking pretty strong. Nvidia looks like it's an absolute rocket ship to the upside that I want to respect. And we had the one short when it got to our level, but that's a bullish-looking stock, relatively speaking. And the market made those lows. This held on to that breakout price. I want to be buying dips in NVIDIA. You got to be able to switch it up here. And clearly it belongs in the strong bucket, not the weak one. So we'll see if we can get some VWAP like we did on Apple.
Oh, man, here we go. Yeah, good calls on there. Now $1.50 in the money on Amazon. Now 70 cents in the money on the TQQ. So we'll say, oh, Canada, glad to be back after a great, great week. And, today's my daughter's birthday. It's been fantastic. So we'll do some stuff. We had some great dinner yesterday. Go check out my Instagram and my Twitter for those pictures. Yeah, thank you for that. I'll tell her that. So we're kind of flying high right now. Look at this trade here. We talked about the TQs, right? We talked about this, that this was going to be a stock that I wanted to attack when we came back. We knew that with trading the futures. And again, this goes back, I keep saying this, but I don't know if Adam's even in the chat, but he was telling me, he's like, Sean, just trade more futures. You're absolutely killing them. And that means a lot coming from viewers, right? It means you guys are watching, you're listening, and hopefully you're maybe taking some of these trades with. So right there, let's go. Thanks, Adam, for those kind words as well. So here it goes, man, right back up to the upside as we go. So nice movement there for that name. It's too bad that we dumped out on some of this name, but Robinhood right now, yeah, buddy, let's just keep on climbing to the upside now on Robinhood. Wow, what a recovery right there. What's up, Adam? There he is. But what a recovery here today on the market. Look at the NASDAQ, bounce, bounce, bounce. Man, Adam, truth, right? When we talked about this, the guy goes, trade these. Look, we have one out there that was literally the bottom before we spiked 70 cents. Then we said, nah, boom, right there, back up to the upside as we work our little magic one more time right now. And Adam, that was a great patio, man. We went over there. Adam got a couple rounds. We got a round there, had the Aperol for the wife. I forget what beer we were drinking, but it was really nice there. In Covent Garden, Covent Garden on a nice patio. Thanks, Adam. It was really, and we'll look forward to him coming here. And the one thing that I had to tell him was, you better bring not that much money. Because if you bring the same amount of money, that you think you're going to spend in London here in Toronto, you may be the mayor of Toronto very, very soon.
You'll be living like a king. Sure.
Yeah, it's like,
Nvidia
literally half price
109.
everything. So when we go to Rodney's, dinner's on Neil, but after that, drinks are on you, Adam. So, all right, here we go. Yeah, it should be fun. I said we could all invite our significant others.
Drinks, I had no issues with that.
Brenda.
If you want to go to Rodney's, I'm always in a good mood when I'm eating oysters. But Nvidia's breaking 109 just very quickly. So it doesn't matter how many shares are on the offer. I could try to count it for you. It's completely irrelevant, maybe a few 100,000. Let's just call it. So there is the break. It's still trying to chew through those orders. Still some stickiness going on in Nvidia there. Get to the quarter, get to the quarter, get to the quarter, get to the half. That's what you want to see on a breakout there. So Nvidia's through. Apple is, okay, Apple just tested the high without actually breaking. So Apple's trying to go as well. Both Nvidia and Apple have been holding out the entire way back into the upside. But there's some supply here at the 109. And why does Nvidia 109 matter? Hey, last week's highs. Now you're through them. It's that simple. So if we hold above this, it's like the Apple 214. As long as we're above, got to be looking for the long. So first stop quarters, halves, evens, and then we'll go from there. 112 looks like the high. I don't mind dip buys either in this name. But if this break doesn't hold, VWAP is all the way down at 108. And I'd be a buyer at VWAP. So I'm not holding on to 109 all the way into the 108. That's not the way I want to play breakout trades. We got one scalp out there. Would like to see how much more we can get. Apple, as I said, tagged its high of the day and didn't quite push through. So Apple's been so strong relative to everything else that we're seeing in the market. Well, most of everything else, at least that I'm seeing in the market. I think we want to stay long in Apple. And now you're starting to see Nvidia get in the party as well. Those two want to go. This market is likely to follow. Palantir, thankfully, as I said, we're able to get those couple of fills out there in front of 20s because it lost 30 even. So we're long at 06s. We got half out at 15 and 16, and then it broke 30 and we're out of that. Palantir now red on the day.
What?
Go figure. I mean, this was so strong all last week, but that 30 level was it was a monster if you pull out the daily and the weekly chart. Looks like there's some profit taking happening on Palantir when it had a little bit of a hiccup for the first time in a few days. Let's go to Adara.
Beware of Starbucks, still really strong here, up almost 4% near highs of day. We did have that report from the Wall Street Journal suggesting that Starboard Value, this activist investor, has a stake in the company. But also worth noting here, right before the open, David Faber of CNBC said that Starbucks is reportedly in talks to settle, with settlement talks here with Elliott, its other activist investor, which Starbucks has confirmed Elliott has a stake in the company. So potential settlement talks as well with Elliott on watch here for SBUX as it continues to push higher, guys.
Oh, Elliot. All right, we'll be 2 for 3. We have one losing stock today. It will be Robinhood. So 2 for 3. Put that on the board right there. And Robinhood, we're trying our best, man. We just got out at 45s right there on Robinhood. So we did okay. We made a lot of money back there, but this is our worst stock. And we talked about why that was. We put a little bit too much faith in that early, but we're back into it right now late, so it's all good. And then there's your first dollar right there. Not first dollar, we just dollar club right now. But there it is right there on the TQs. So that's pretty good, man. We talked about wanting to trade the futures more and more. We're at $1.50. You want the bangers, here we are. They're $1.50 in the money on Amazon. That's, again, a green stock today. The TQQ is a green stock today. And that's $1 in the money. The only one that we were fighting was Robinhood. And then I looked down on here and it was like, what did we like? We liked Robinhood long, Amazon long. So that's good. We'll go 1 for 1 on that. And the other one was Apple. So, and I know that Apple's been holding out pretty strong. I know Neil's been looking at that as well. But there it is. I think that this was, again, a really good look on Apple being one of the stronger names there today. But you'd had to have looked at it and it didn't really get to my 215 level. You could have just used the opening print as sort of your look there. That little wick down there to 215.60, that was definitely something. We were getting filled on Amazon there, which I wish we weren't, wish we were getting filled on Apple, but I like them both long. So can't really hate on that idea initially. But yeah, I can't hate on anything that we have right now. Multiple dollars in right now on the account. So far, so good. The one name that I liked long was Uber. But this one today, meh.
Another good continuation last week, Uber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was added to Morgan Stanley's conviction list or something. So a good little level there, 68.70. Coming through for Uber. Look, man, I mean, we have $2 on right now, both in TQs and Amazon, and then Robinhood's trying to figure itself out. So for right now, pretty happy now as the market turns green again.
Yes.
Nice.
The market just went, I mean, it didn't just go green. I mean, it was going green for the last minute or two. But as we said, Nvidia just broke the high. Apple broke the high. I'll look at other Mag 7 names as we come into play, but try to keep it clean. We're talking about this patience all last week. Be patient. If you have a level, let it get there. We wanted to short in front of 108.80 on Nvidia. We got it. It held out the breakout price and then put in higher lows, so it's strong. Take the breakout at 109. It broke out 109. We dipped in after scalping some. Now we're going to get the 110 level testing, so that long is working. Apple, willing to take it a couple times off that bottom. We got stopped out once. It held VWAP, so we got back in. I can cancel any hopes of getting back in at VWAP again, I think are out the window. 220 certainly in play. Want to be buying dips on Apple. If we lose this high, I think I want to get out and wait for VWAP. But yeah, you've had to pick your spots here. This is one of those days, just like almost every single day last week was very similar. You had to be patient, waiting for your levels to come in. And when the market was absolutely tanking, try to identify some things that are weak and some that are strong. So Apple's strong. We're back in on VWAP on Intel. It's held twice now. This is the only 2 times we've even tagged VWAP on the way back in. So we're back into this one off of VWAP. If Intel wants to stay weak, great. Everything else cresting to set upside. So Apple, Nvidia, we got long. Palantir is trying to hold back above 30. I don't know how much I like that long, the way that came back. It was at 31.20. Now we're at 29.95. That's a wild move down to try to force any longs in Palantir. Just be happy that the early ones worked and we're able to get some wins there, because bleeding back is our friend Palantir. So if we break about 1973, that'll be my out here on Intel. Just going to make sure I have my stop locked and loaded. And when I get scalps in front of the low of the day.
By the way, this futures trading, again, you know, we talk about it. This is why we talk about those things. This is why it's very, very important to understand which stocks you trade the best, you know, and put the risk in the right spots. You know, my number one stock here today is going to be these futures. And we actually got hit there and we were red on it. Remember, I was like, okay, we're slightly red on it. Let's just see what winds up happening right now. Let's go Robinhood. Let's go, man. You are robbing from the poor. Let's go. But no, we're going to give it to the rich, hopefully, here, as whoever owns shares now reaping the benefits. And if you're short, I guess you could be a rich short seller for sure. But there it goes. Nicely done to the upside as Robinhood comes right back in. Ooh, yeah, we are really cruising right now. Can't wipe this smile off this guy's face. $1.50 now in the money on Amazon. $1.50 now in the money on the TQQs. We just put this one on right now. So let's go market green. Yeah, Neil hit this key before. Let's hit it again. There it goes. Shopify, a new entrant into the building right now, my friend. So there goes Shopify up to $69.40. So we'll take a quick 12 cents there. We are now in the money 15 cents. Hey, why not? Let's put an offer at 50 and see if we can get that as we put that in our pipe and smoke that one as well. 3 for 4 here today. So far, so good, man. We're going to be happy with it, and we're going to see if our luck will run out soon. But there goes Shopify. We're out of 40% there for that 15 cents. Let's see if it pulls back. I'm going to try to give this one, I mean, that low is 69.10s. I feel like we want to buy some more in and around the 20s if we can get that. That's where the 200 period is or so. So we'll see if we can buy that. And then just watch out for a drop through 69. I mean, I think it looks pretty obvious, right? I mean, if we don't hold this level, then yeah, whoosh, we'll probably fall down. And that's 68.60s or so. So that could be a level of some sort of concern for us if that does come out. And again, do not rest on your winning trades. Like, you got to get out of them. Like, there goes Robinhood right back to that 50 level that we talked about. So it actually round tripped. It went right to where we got stopped out. That 18.15 was the level that we had talked about. All right, and then it goes right back up to our punch-in level right there at 1850. So, yeah, so far so good. Yeah, SMCI, I heard it was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I'm going to go over to SMCI in a second. Thank you for everyone in the chat pointing out the names that maybe we're not looking at. We said this last week too often. You got to trade what's in your plan of action or the stocks that you're looking at. For chip names, it's usually like Nvidia, AMD, Intel, and not always SMCI. But First, Nvidia did this at the 110. Bit of a reversal candle when the NASDAQ went to the high. So NASDAQ was tracking highs. I'm always thinking trails on longs when we get to resistance like this. So what happened is you broke the 110. I put the trail in. It broke back underneath. I got like 97s, I think, on the way back out. So the 109 break worked all the way back into 110. We'll look for some kind of a higher low to jump back into this. We're short once. We're long a couple of times here in Nvidia. Apple's still looking pretty good. It's just going to cover Intel. Look, we cannot seem to get back to the lows on Intel, which is, I mean, that's saying something for the stock because it just failed off VWAP again. So if it breaks out this high, I'm not reversing long. I'm just getting out. That's the local high. And now SMCI, I think look, the 500 level on SMCI is going to be a crowded one if we ever see it. But the way that this is rallied off of 500 has been pretty spectacular. I just want to point out this 550. You had the dump last week. You had a clear 550 high. If this goes, it's not really a squeeze name, but rest in peace to the shorts. If the 550 level gets taken out in SMCI, I'll be looking for a place to get back in to Nvidia because that's the one I want to trade. So I'm buying the next available dip. Breakout price was 109. We get back into 109. I want to look for a long. Otherwise, just be patient for it. Allow it to make the next opportunity present itself. It could be VWAP, it could be 09, could be anywhere, but we're ready to be on that bid.
All right, good call on that one. $1.70 now in the money on Amazon, $1.40 on TQs. Just looking right here, you know, like the NASDAQ's all the way back to its highs of the day, right, which is the pre-market. So we've got the bottom of the day and hopefully the top of the day if we punch out right now. Not hopefully, I mean, hopefully it continues to run. But we could get out right now, so I'm debating a little bit of this. We only have a piece left. We talk about that all the time and trying to get better at holding. But we'll be right where we need to be today. It's too bad that Robinhood got stopped out there, or else this would have been an absolutely monstrous day. But for right now, 59.70 potentially just to get out of the TQs and call that one a day. You don't need this to sort of turn around on you too fast because it will do that. And then Amazon right here as well is at the 200 period moving average. So at some point you want to hold these and really until the cows come home. But we've done real good to bring these names all the way back upside. So far, so good there. We just got a reload in Shopify and we got some out. So right now we are long at 20s, as you can see, 22s with Shopify coming in right now, 269 flat. So although the market continues to go, wow, here we go, man. These futures right now, guys, we are now, if we're going to talk about 18,540, 18,670, 140 handles right now in the money on this NASDAQ futures call. So 140 handles to the upside right there on the NASDAQ. That ain't too bad, I don't think. But right now, we're going to go over to the desk with Adara.
Russell 2000 a bit weaker here, especially when compared to the strength of the futures. Both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ positive, but we have the IWM here down about 0.7% on the day. A little bit of resistance coming in here around that 205.50 area for the Russell 2000. A couple small cap names to keep an eye on, including SXTP. This company here does some biopharma. They do have a float here of around 820,000 shares, so pretty small float, announcing that they're providing the University of Kentucky with this right of reference for their malaria drug. So if this treatment does go to the FDA, they can use the study as part of that. So interesting look there. We also have LODE. This company is Comstock getting a upgrade to outperform by Noble Capital. And last but not least, here we have PSIG. This one up more than 100% on the day. No news on this one. We do have a 4.13 million share float for PS International Group. So quite a few runners on watch today, guys.
Yeah, the runners to watch are 18.7 and absolute highs here on the NASDAQ. I mean, the ES is not at its high. I was about to point, I thought they were both at the same high, but the S&P 500 is lagging by about 10 points to its high, but the NASDAQ just tagged it and wicked it. Apple, I threw my trail in, and when the 18 broke, that just came back out. When you get this top heavy again, everyone's going to have, I like the station to station. Obviously, you're going to have a pretty big level here at the 18.7, which is held. It was overnight highs as well. So I'm dipping out, looking for a place to either find a weak stock to fade at those highs. If we continue to break out, look for a consolidation on something new. So Nvidia's now 5.5%, that's gone. Apple's only up 1%, but it's still very, very strong relative to the overall market. So a couple of long plays. I'm now out of both of them, and I hate to tell you, but as the market took out the high, Intel failed VWAP again. The only thing I'd say that's remotely bullish about this is it's trying to put in a higher low and not doing a bad job of it, to be honest with you. So it's able to hold out here at 19.6. I'm going to probably try to get something in the mid to high 70s or 50s to get out, because the way this market's going, I mean, at some point the market should be able to even drag this thing up if we continue to break out those highs. So far, so good. I mean, everything has pretty much worked out. The only thing that was baffling to me, baffling is not the right word, surprising to me was how much Palantir came back in, and that dip off 30 doesn't even remotely hold. We just saw 29.60s as the bottom on Palantir, but we got out of that one when it looked as bad as it did.
Oh, man. What a run. What a run today. All right, we made back a lot. Like, this has been a really good second half, for sure. The first half wasn't even that bad. It was just we lost on that Amazon trade, and then we made it back, and now we're well up on Amazon right now, and the TQs just continue. I mean, that NASDAQ bottom call, we are now 100, we're almost 200 handles in the money right now on this. So, I mean, I cannot complain when we have days like that. And then right now, we just got a 33 fill also on Shopify off of our long of 21. So right now, man, I mean, it is just straight fire right now, this market. I love trading these markets. This is why I was saying, like, wow, what an opportunity missed last week. Glad to be on vacation, but wow. All right, here goes Nvidia right now. Look at this stock. The best price we were able to buy was, I didn't buy anything last week when we were on vacay. Should have hopped in there. But we bought Nvidia at 103 and change the week before that. So this is a nice little bounce today for Nvidia. Nice move back up there to the upside there. Obviously did not get anything sub 100, as I was saying, was not here for that. But nice move up there for Nvidia. What's Tesla doing off of its bottom as well? Wow, it's 10.25. Okay, still so much more time to go, man. We could put up some serious numbers here today, man. Good. Really happy for this. All right, 195, 197. I mean, there's the take there. I'm trying to go longer on things. I mean, there it is, Neil. We'd have our first, for me, $2 winner right now today on Amazon, as this one, again, bottom picked, man, right there to the top side goes AMZN, and making dreams come true is this name. I have an offer right here at 40s. So if we get filled, and then that is it. That's a wrap on that one. That's your first hot dog cannon of the day, man. Amazon, monster trade right there back up to the upside. I hope you guys are able to have found some of that trade in you as well. And hopefully you have this as well. This is another $2 right now winner as we put some slaps back and forth into this market one more time. And then just a ho-hum, 20 cents in the money right now on Shopify as that's trying to get back there to the upside. There you go, bang on that one. 50 cents now in the money on Robinhood. Wow, what a day so far here today, guys. We better take something out, though, on Robinhood before we get too excited here. We'll have to punch some 51s out there. But wow, what a battle back here today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, all of that. We're back where we belong right now in this seat, putting up the numbers, entertaining. Hopefully you guys like that. Yeah, what's up, Jonathan, right there? We've returned to our proper throne, and we're happy to sit here all day for you guys. But on the midday, we got earnings and trading them after hours, which I do not recommend, but you will hear more about that at 11 o'clock with Adara and Sharif. But we're back, baby.
Yeah, it's very, very different earnings before market and after market. And we've talked about that before, man. In the morning, you have the looming open, you have liquidity, you have all that stuff after market. My hands are off. And we saw some last week on the aftermarket show. I want to say 75% of major earnings faked you out and destroyed you the other way. I'm talking about it would go up and then it would flush down, or it would flush down and would go up. Be very, very careful with that. I think this is the kind of day that you gotta have your plan of action and try to stick to it. And it was a question, Mr. Long Shorts. I wanted to get to this. Want to engage with the questions that we get to the best of our abilities in the chat. And if you want to be in the chat, make sure you hit that subscribe, because it is a subs only chat. For everybody out there. You have 8 of your $30 MPP left, so that means to me you're at real trading. Any recommendations for managing the rest of the day, or should I call it quits? If you're in a trading account and you're learning to trade, I would say no, you don't call it quits. at the end of the day, like you're here to try to work ideas. So if you've got some of it left, just be patient. Wait for a good setup and only one that makes sense to you. And if you see something that's good, that is a normal setup for you to take, then just take it and stick to your out. Be disciplined. There's nothing wrong with when you're a trainee or starting out getting shut down. It's just a matter of putting on those trades when they set themselves up. So I know people are saying, look at AMD. I'm looking mostly at Nvidia. AMD 138, lower high turn. If this had been at 140 this morning or anywhere adjacent to it, I'd be talking about a breakout on AMD. But the difference between AMD and Nvidia is that high, and Nvidia's, which is above that 109. So Nvidia broke out above that high of last week, and AMD hasn't. And so this is what I sort of mean. Like, if you have a plan of action, just wait for it. We wanted one short on Nvidia. We wanted one long if it broke. And that's the only two things we've done with this stock. And now I'll wait to see if we can get a dip buy on it. Try to keep it as clean as possible to the best of your abilities, everybody. Apple, feel like we did just get out. It made another wick high and trying to pull back in there. VWAP is so far away at this point that we're just going to be patient and let it come back to us. And the only thing that came nowhere within our plan was any of the crypto names. So there was no, I mean, you're still underneath, well underneath $200 here on Coinbase. Bitcoin has had no love getting above 60,000. So unfortunately, that part of the plan might not come into effect. But that's fine. You don't have to force any trades if they're not there. And speaking of crypto, let's go to Adara.
We're going to start the crypto update with a quick recap of CleanSpark earnings, CLSK. In case you missed it, they actually reported after the market closed on Friday. They were supposed to report after the close on Thursday, but postponed it at the last minute. To summarize these earnings, they did report adjusted earnings per share of negative 0.1 cents. They lost 1 cent compared to estimates of losing 4 cents per share. So that was a beat. They did, however, miss on sales, 104.11 million versus estimates of almost 111 million. They also announced, though, that they have a partnership with Coinbase, COIN, which involves CleanSpark acquiring a $50 million revolving line of credit. So that's an interesting note here, just to highlight these CLSK earnings we got on Friday after the close. Bitcoin, after falling below that 60,000 level over the weekend, trying to get back into the level right now. Little bit of a candle forming here, though definitely a bit weaker than where we saw on Friday, as we were actually nicely above that 60,000 level when we left here on Friday. Bitcoin down about 1.75%, but Ethereum actually, though, down in the day earlier today, now holding on to this 2,600 level and pushing towards 2,700. The rest of these names are going to be a little bit more mixed to weak. We've got this Ton coin here, slightly up on the day, but slight weakness here in BNB, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano. Overall, a little bit more of a mixed day for these cryptocurrencies to start out, which should be a pretty interesting week, guys.
All righty then. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Adara, for that one. All right, so Shopify is coming right back in. I mean, this market's trying to give it up for sure. So we're going to have to watch out for Shopify. We are long at 14s right now. So let's try to see if we can get something out like around 20s if we're able to. But there goes Shopify, nicely dipped back in. And I just want to, you talked about real trading there. There's 11, just so you guys know, there's 11 traders on our floor, 3 positive today, 8 red. So that's not a bad little ratio. But if you are with real trading, that's, sort of par for the course there, as it's pretty tough, right? I think 20% would be a great success rate if you are a trader. So, just keep your head up there. And I think that's good advice by Neil. Stay in the positive, as positive as you can for as long as you can. But do not get discouraged. This is not very easy. We talked about that before I left. There's only a couple accounts positive all of July. So I don't know how August is going. I can double check later. But for right now, we're in these trades today. So let's think about how we can get better today. All right, here's Amazon right now. Good trade on that one. I mean, let's props up the fact that we got out. And again, being smart about it, right into the day's high again for Amazon. We went top, bottom to top. But we had lost early right there on Amazon, but we stuck with it, got back in, and then got out right there at the top, able to turn Amazon from what was a red name, pretty red too, actually, into a positive name. So that's why we're talking like this, man. I look over at the clock. It's like, boom, lots of time left. You can still find your trades. All right, so TQs. So another name here. I'm going to get out if we break below this little shelf right here. I know it doesn't look like that much, but what a great day it's for the TQs. I did not get out at the day's high for this. Thought that we could hold on to the futures a little bit more than we can on equities, only because there's that running potential. Nothing's going to stop the futures unless we get some sort of economic news coming out today, which there's none expected. So let's wait to see if this can get going again. We're about 200, 190 handles now in the money here on this trade. Man, oh man, are we just we're getting better and better every day here, I feel like. And I'm just glad that you guys are here to join me on this journey, because there's Shopify. Again, a nice bottom pick right there. We're back, baby. TQs, boom. Shopify, boom. Robinhood, Amazon, boom. So right now we'll go 3 for 4 today, and we'll just lick our wounds with this Robinhood that just doesn't seem to want to go up. But we found other trades, man. We're not just resting on what trades we've had been. We're looking for more opportunities, and I feel like we got a good one here with Shopify against 69. But hopefully the market will go. But right there, that's 68.50. That would be the ultimate bottom. But I'm going to get out if we break this shelf of 69 again, and that's you'll see me trade again, as we keep saying, different styles here all the time. But 10 cents in the money on 1,000 shares is different than 10 cents in the money on 100 shares, right? And so it's the same 10 cents, but for me, I trade here for money, and I'm trying to figure out how to most capitalize on that. So we'll wait to see if this can go upside. Let's see now if Shopify continues to go. So 12 cents in on this one, $1.70 now. Oh, we just got some more Shopify up there. $1.70 in right here. And Robinhood's not doing much. So we'll look for some more, man. We'll look for some more trades to go right now. But the big one for me would be Shopify. So this is where I have more shares on Shopify than anything else. Double the shares on Shopify right now than Robinhood. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So go as it goes upside. Oh yeah, baby. It's going to be a good day here. Hopefully we can get back to where we need to be.
Yeah, it's been a solid morning. Just kind of go station to station here. I wanted to get back into Nvidia here. Thought we'd get nines. Thought we'd maybe get VWAP because the market continued higher. And Nvidia was pulling back. So the market actually held the highs while Nvidia was pulling back. So that felt like we'd get back into the 109. Instead, you're going to see it get to 110, a bit of a higher low. It's still holding the trend pretty nicely. 112, I think, is the resistance level that I got marked off. So as long as we're still churning toward that level, we'll give it a chance. I want to give this back into 109.85 or so. As I said, we're going to go long in front of 10s. Want to give it back to this local high, or bottom, I should say. If we pull back into VWAP, make that a separate trade. I want to try to keep these as clean as possible. And then we go back over to Rivian has been Deadsville. So one of the names that we didn't get short this morning that I liked for a short, as you can see, it just fell apart, was Rivian. Just a clean break at 14 when we thought it'd be a pop and fade. So it's at VWAP as we speak. But I got this opening range high, 1365, and then a lower high. As long as it bounces up here and puts another lower high in, I want to be short Rivian. I'm not too concerned about VWAP. I care about where they were selling before. So sellers were here, sellers were here. If they sell it again, then I want to be on the offer of this relatively weak name. Intel, I feel a little bit different about. Still can't seem to get back into the low of the day. We got VWAP twice. I feel like the third time, you need to prove it to me that it's going to be a good short again here on Intel. Down when the market is up, that's all well and good. But as I said about half an hour ago, if we just keep pressing highs, even this thing can go squeezing. I think it was Thursday when it just trended. Like when this reversed on Thursday, it just trended the entire day to the upsides. Even Intel's capable of that when it catches a bit of a bit. So we're back into the long in Nvidia. We're still looking to short Rivian if we get a chance at it. And Apple doesn't seem to want to let us back in at any reasonable level as well. But that's okay. We can be patient with it. Apple with a good move to the upside, and Tesla's about to break out. We just quickly go over to Tesla. Tesla has this breakout right here, 198.35.
Here we fucking go.
I'm probably going to go break at the even, so I'm going to wait for 50s. I mean, it's kind of a random price at 35, but looking very strong. Tesla joining the party.
All right, shout out to all my real traders out there right now. Props it up, because there goes Shopify. Bang, right there. A nice little 3-1 winner right now for us on Shopify. I mean, up to 69.50. I mean, there's that level, right? There's the buys, there's the dip buys. There it is right there. This is can't be any more real than what we're showing you right here today, Neil and I, because this is a trade that I had on, got out, put on more, getting out more right now. And then how about this Robinhood trade? Let's go right now. Hit those cash registers, man. Robinhood starting to get huge right now back up there to the upside. I mean, we just tweeted this one out. These are the sticky note bandit names today, baby. We've got Amazon long, we've got Hood long, we've got Apple long, and we've got a trade where we should have taken that just dropped in. Let's go Robinhood. Wow, what a great trade that turned out to be. Again, right there. I'm still gonna, I mean, we could maybe change. No, that's still 70s right there. 95s. I mean, I don't know. This TQ's trade is now, guess what, $1 and $2, Sharif. Sharif, we are 200 handles in the money. That's it. I mean, that's it for right now. All right, 59.84. We'll get out right now on the TQs as we go. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hasn't been much talk about the futures today other than TQs, but we'll wait to see where it goes. I haven't looked at the SPY again right there, but that's why you got to sort of stick in your zone there and trade what you're trading. But wow, Robinhood really exploding there. And now to the top side. What a fun day it's been here. It's only 10:40 right now. Any other names? I mean, we talked about, I could look at DraftKings. I mean, Bitcoin right now busted through 60. I was
about to say.
We talked about Bitcoin going through 60. That seems to have been working out for people. Just congratulations and thanks for watching, man. I know I'm having a blast.
Yeah, that MSTR is gone. Since the split, I thought maybe we trade a little bit more, but when you have the ability to trade like Coinbase, Bitcoin directly, IBITs out there, MSTR still has, it's a spready stock still. So it hasn't been that great since the split, but I do like this one to the upside if we can hold above 60,000. I just thought it would be Coinbase and Ccoin. It's only now making a high break as we speak. So on the way to that $200 level, maybe we'll join it. I think we could still get a 200 breakout today on Coinbase. We just have to cross that bridge when we get there. I am short Rivian because it's a bad stock. It's a weak stock. It's at VWAP, but I don't care about VWAP. I'm shorting it back into these local highs on RIVN. The coin's going to be on the radar if we get to that $200 level, but it's been a good morning that I do not want to force anything that isn't setting up. Sticking to the plan and waiting for stocks to get to levels is what had worked for me all last week and then again today. So I want to make sure we stick exactly to that. I see a lot of names being thrown in the chat that I haven't looked at. NVAX, the Piper, that was a good stock to trade continuation as well, an earnings play. So I think you're looking in the right spot. Those earnings continuations have been good. Shopify is another one and a good example of that. Palantir, unfortunately, can't seem to catch much of a bid. I'm looking for this to calm itself down. It cannot seem to break this downtrend at this point. It's looking like it's got one at 29.50. The second I start seeing a rounded bottom and some higher lows, if the market's still going, I'm going to go right back over to Palantir, but just need to calm this one down. It was such a big pullback on Palantir and still looking relatively weak. So we can be patient for it. We still have the rest of the day here.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we are really, really happy putting on some nice moves here today coming through. There goes the TQs, now $2. Hood is now, I mean, Robinhood is, I mean, the stink face required to this stock is unbelievable. I appreciate Sharif, man. He came over and said it wasn't the same last week without me. So that means a lot. It's basically, I heard that a lot in the chat, and that means a lot coming from Sharif as well. So I definitely appreciate that, and I'm glad to be here entertaining and putting up some of these winners. And again, it took some feedback from the viewers and have really changed the style here to be more entertaining, as transparent as possible, as we've always been here right now. So we definitely appreciate all of that, man. I mean, what a good show and good vibes here, and we're glad to have been part of that since the jump. And hopefully, like I said, I need more vacations to give you guys more opportunity in the market, but glad to be back today. Lots of opportunities today, man. I mean, we are now so here's the dip buy in the TQs happened at 9. We're still in it, right? We still got 10% left. 58.26. That time was 9.57. So if you're going over here, yeah, I got it. 9.57. That's 18.533. So you're now over 200 handles in the money on this TQQ trade. So we'll continue to watch out for that. It's Shopify that's giving me some kind of worries now, because this is the move that's happening back in right now for Shopify. We do have a stop out for the TQQs coming through. If this breaks, I just put 85s. So it breaks little, kind of through here, these wicks, and we're going to get out of that one. But right now it's Shopify on watch, and it's Dara at the screens.
Despite that strength we have right now coming through in the TQ or the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, we do have quite a few segments or sectors here that are not going to be outstandingly strong or weak. Quite a few flat sectors, including this technology services, health technology, a bit mixed as well, despite some early strength from Eli Lilly post earnings. We've got finance sector a little bit weaker, consumer services with the exception of Starbucks on this activist investor news, producer manufacturing. But that being said, there are some sectors with some outstanding strength as well. Retail trade, we've got Amazon, Walmart, and Costco all to the upside today. Walmart reporting before the open on Thursday and Home Depot reporting before the open tomorrow. So that sector definitely on watch here. Also some strength coming through in energy minerals as oil prices rise for a fifth straight day, or they're on track to rise for a fifth straight day. Also, of course, some strength here in electronic technology led by these chip names once again, Nvidia and AMD, chief among them, the Broadcom pretty strong here as well. One exception is Qualcomm getting a downgrade this morning, so QCOM weaker, but other than that, the sector generally pretty strong. In terms of sectors that are like weaker on the day, we do have consumer durables led to the downside here by Tesla, and consumer non-durables as well. PG and KO leading this group to the downside, guys.
Yeah, they've been a little bit weak, but that's not the only thing that's weak, those durables. I mean, the EV names have been weak as well. We've been talking about this for quite some time in the penalty box. Usually it'd be VWAP for retrace. As I said, don't care about that. We're just going to go with this line here. Sellers at 1365 on Rivian. We just put this one on when it broke VWAP. We got 58s in. It's falling back in toward the low of the day here on Rivian. Just try to keep it simple. It's trending down. Go short. If a stock is trending up, try to go long to the upside there. So we'll sit back. I do like, again, I'm going to go back over. I said I wouldn't reload a third time, but I'm starting to like it a little bit better here on Intel. The market did try to break out those highs one more time, and you're still cresting off of VWAP here. So a couple of names, and these were the two names I liked short in the pre-market show, was Intel and Rivian. So we're going to try and stick, well, I mean, Intel every day last week, but Rivian this morning with a bit of a dump fest. So let's go to the south side on those two. We'll see if we pick something up on Apple on a dip, but it's got to set itself back to the upside. Don't want to be fighting anything in this market.
All right, so just real quickly, we also had XOM written on here. This is why you never lose faith. XOM, we just put it on, it turns to P&L number 1 right there. So a little bit of a face slap there for XOM as we get out of 2/3 of that right there back to the upside. So a good trade there on XOM coming in. Now it's coming back in, so we're out of 2/3. Let's wait to see if that does turn around. All right, Shopify, man, near extinction. Honestly, it just came back up through 69. We're going to give this about 10 more cents as it's breaking through 69 right now. It went as low as, we were trying to find out where that wick was going to go. Stops at 90, so let's use that as our out. Hey, man, maybe we can bump back up right now on that name. You're probably watching Robinhood fall out. We actually... So again, we have a little bit more than 10% of, no, a little bit less actually than what we would have had down here, as most of our outs, as you can see, are sub 50s. So we got a lot out up here because that was the level that we had written down on the sticky note today. So we definitely wanted to watch out for that 50 level. And yeah, it failed us early, which wound up taking the hit there. We'll have one red stock today. That's going to be Robinhood. But other than that, man, I mean, $2 on Amazon, $2. Oh, our TQs just came out as it does break that 85 level. We actually get, I'll tell you what price we got actually, 83, some 83s, some 84s right there. So we did get stopped out on that trade, and that's the level got hit. You know, our level got hit, we're out. So that's going to happen. We'll make those calls all the time. Welcome to the jungle, man. We got fun and games. Here's XOM. We're going to wait for 85s. I mean, right here, it's at the 50-period moving average. I like this name today. I like the long. It does fall back into this area. I thought worth protecting. We did do that. Goes to PL1. We talked about that. Although the TQs is actually PL1 now that I'm flat on it. But XOM is right beside it right now as they battle. And that's what I mean. You know, like you could take this in, but then if you take more shares and get out quicker, sometimes it can really elevate where your net is. You can turn into a scalper, right? Instead of trying to hold something. So like I said, have the ability to go station to station, which clearly we have, and then also have the ability to hold it for longer moves. So that's really been the difference. We talked about what kind of a month July was, and a lot of it was to do with that kind of mentality. So yeah, let's just keep on going here. Try to hold the winners as long as you possibly can. But you know, if you are gonna take few shots, like 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, just do it on more shares so you can make sure to scalp out a decent little profit there. But here we go, man. Only 13 minutes left, and then you'll be with the professor and Adara. Oh, yeah, first of all, join me tonight, actually, on the live daily market recap show with Michael Noss. I'm going to talk to him all about Bitcoin and some crypto and things like that. So we'll be doing that. And then what I was going to say is we do have the midday show that's coming up right now, talking about, and I said the story about how when I first turned around, I said, who the hell is this monster sitting behind me? And it was Sharif, and he was wearing Dallas Cowboy jersey, so I was kind of fond of him, but not really. And then, no, just playing around. Then he was wearing all these football jerseys, which would be soccer, of course. And I was like, what's going on? I turned over, I was like, what? He's like, man, don't talk to me, I'm trading post-market earnings. He was not like that at all. But then he was trading earnings. I go, dude, stop immediately from trading those. They are too tough to trade. But now he's got a lesson ready to go. So we'll learn from Sharif. And the one thing I could say is it's from experience. He's going to tell you firsthand about some of the moves that he's had trading in the post-market, plus some lessons from doing all of that. Not only am I a trader, but a salesman as well.
And you know what? He's not the only trader on this floor that's tried and has some lessons to learn. I think the best thing about the floor is that you can crowdsource ideas and experiences. So, you know, you have multiple traders that can tell you what those earnings look like after market. And you know what? I'll be the first to tell you, I've not always looked at the VIX, but just very quickly, we have about 10 minutes to go here. You're trending down. We talked about this last week. You're still holding this downward trend in volatility here. So there was a little press up early, and then now we're rolling back over until this catches a bid, which you have to zoom way in. Until this catches a bid, I think the market's still looking strong. So long, strong stocks is going to make a little bit of sense there on a day like today. Speaking of strong stocks, Apple seems to want 220 without coming back into the levels that I want. So Apple absolutely churning. 220 is the spot where I'd even think about a short on Apple. Not that I really am, but it just broke 219. Going to look for a pullback into some prior highs here on Apple as we go to Adara for Money Talks.
Despite a slight uptick right now in the daily chart for the DXY, you can still see an ongoing downtrend for the US dollar here on this daily chart, currently just above that 103 level. No major economic data prints to talk about today, though we do have the US federal budget balance coming out at 2 p.m. But it's worth noting we do have some economic data on watch the rest of the week, mainly the PPI data on Tuesday and the more heavily watched CPI data coming through Wednesday. Both of those expected at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time on their respective days. Worth noting as well, we did have Fed's Bowman making some comments on Sunday night, saying, generally known for being a little bit more hawkish, but saying that actually there's been some, quote, welcome progress on inflation and that it would make sense to gradually lower the rates should this progress continue. However, the Fed should not be lowering rates based on one specific economic data point. So noting no overreaction should be happening based on specific points, but general slowdown, if that occurs, could see some rate lowering here. So interesting note here as we wait not only for the September Fed meeting, but also the Jackson Hole Symposium next week, guys.
Oh, yeah, Jackson. Yeah, Jackson Hole.
What's up with Jackson?
Yeah, we'll see what happens, Ms. Jackson. But we're sorry, Ms. Jackson. Today, you just got to be worried about the market in front of you, unless you're a swing trader and all that kind of stuff, but we're here day trading. The newest position for me is and has been this Rivian. You just caught another lower high, so I'm looking at this low of the day. If it is able to hold 13 1/3, I want to zoom out and show you guys it's not random. Rivian held this line last week. It held that line like a month ago or so. So a bounce off 13.30 would be major support here on Rivian. If we get to that price, I'm looking to take it all out on the next available bounce if we get it on Rivian. Big support level at that $13. Still a weak stock and all that good stuff. Apple just wicked the 219. So there's 219. When I say wicked, it broke and pulled back in. So you might get a move like it did here at 218.5. Look for the next consolidation. It hasn't really consolidated since I got out in a clean fashion. It was very whippy around to the upside here, as you can tell. It's going back and forth instead of in a tight range and a wide one. We'll see if we can get something back into this 218.25. Apple strong, want to only be long. That one, I did mention briefly that ARM, I like to short at the 120 level. That was early. Now you're trending to the upside. That's the thing. If you like a stock at a certain price, once it starts showing strength in the other direction, you don't have to fight this one. So ARM holding on to what was resistance and turning it into a little bit of support here at VWAP. If it can break back and hold the 120, I might look for that long. But first things first, Palantir, I keep looking for, like, I'm trying to be patient with it. I keep looking for it to make that rounded bottom, and it's not happening here on Palantir. And, if I have regret, like, I haven't had, like, every stock has been solid this morning, but Palantir somehow feels like I should have reversed it short at some point. But I'm only really looking for that continuation long, and as long as it's above 29, I want to give it a chance. This 29.5 is now a double bottom, maybe even a triple bottom. So things have calmed down a little bit. If we do a false break of 50s, I'm going to look for the reversal back to VWAP here on PLTR. Had to be able to pick your spots with this and not fight it. Just get out when the getting's good, get out when the getting's good. We'll see if we can get a bounce off this 29.50 on Palantir. One of the few things that's a red stock on the day.
Yeah, strange about that one. We do have right now Robinhood will take another out right there, face slapper as it comes back up to 70 and take another piece out. We did reverse into the short. So Shopify gave it up. We're flat on it now. Well, we're in position, so we'll wait to see what happens. But Shopify gave it up, breaking that. And then I'm flipping over to the short, just trying to see about these tops. It is weaker. If the market does want to pull back, I am pretty confident that Shopify will be one of those names that pulls back. But it's content time because we want to know what's for lunch. All right, and this is going to be pretty good for me because I'm going to test it out. I went to a 152-year-old, one of the most famous fish and chip shops in London, and that was fantastic. So that's today for lunch is fish and chips. So we're going to find out about that. Obviously, we'll be having a salad here.
Obviously
probably will be tuna, and obviously not as good. So
no chance.
No
chance.
It's not made fresh right in front of you. I mean, a little different there. We also went to St. John in Smithfield. That was fantastic. That's Michelin star award winning. Our friend, that's like number one on his bucket list.
Yeah.
He has yet to have been. And so he was all about that. That was wonderful, lovely. Some saffron halibut was had there with a pea mash there. It was really, really good. All right. So anyways, end of the day here. By the way, number one in your heart, maybe not, XOM right there. What a trade for me here on ExxonMobil, man. I mean, again, look what names are on the sticky note. XOM, 1 for 1. Amazon, 2 for 2. Robinhood, 2 for 3. Apple, we don't have it, but I think good trades over there. And then the TQs. I'm going to equate the TQs to Apple. I mean, strong market, strong Apple. But there it goes right now for XOM, man. I mean, this is a 40-cent winner, and we're just ho-humming this trade. So it's a nice little trade there for XOM. Again, we looked at these bottoms. This is when I trade the best. Be able to find where levels are and just attack them. And hopefully they work out. So right there, that was a good little opportunity for us as we get some more out right there for that. It is another one right there on XOM as it continues to go higher and higher. So yeah, mushy peas. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then we had also at the Rock and Soul there was where we went for the fish place. Those of you in London will know about that. A great gravy there as well. And it was really, really, really great. And thank God we did not get the large portion, man. I couldn't even finish the medium portion right there. All right, now,
put that work in, man.
It was.
You just take your time.
It's funny, you don't need as much, man. Even though we're walking around, I did 20 to 25,000 steps.
I was going to say, usually you're hungry when you walk.
I don't know. Maybe it was the alcohol, you know what I'm saying? No, but here we go. Nice move back in. Let's see where Shopify rests its head with only a few minutes left. It's good to be back, and thank you for all the positive comments there in the chat. We're back to make some money.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's been about this morning. No questions asked. Pretty much looking very clean. I know I just got a question in the chat about CrowdStrike. Why aren't you trading CrowdStrike? You got to trade what sets up. We trade CrowdStrike after earnings. I haven't looked at it since last week, but you've got to be able to be careful on anything that's a short right now, even if it's relatively weak. But here, right back into that high is Rivian. I said if it bounced off that low, it's a good support level because it's on the daily, that 13.3 and a third. If we get one more wick and one more chance at this, looking for on the other end, don't necessarily want to be standing in front of the freight train, but if it's going to roll back over, look for the short back here at that 60 level if it wants to set me up. Apple's looking about as weak as it's been since that late break. So I think the test of this support here at 218.25 is about to happen when we throw you guys over to the midday show. So I think we're probably going to pull back into this previous high. That's where I trailed out of the long on Apple. If the same buyers are there at the quarters, I'll try to jump back in. If it fails, wait for VWAP. It's got a good trend to the upside. VWAP was a bit messy the second time through clean. The first time we had to take that hit, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if we're going to get to VWAP on Apple. If we do, I want to be long on this name. And then I want to go over to AMD only because we've kind of only talked about Nvidia today. AMD, not nearly as strong in my books as Nvidia. Nvidia's up twice as much. They're both, but here's the thing: percentages is just a percentage. Nvidia is close to VWAP and pulling back in as we speak, lower highs, whereas AMD is holding this higher low and nowhere close to VWAP. So now all of a sudden AMD's on my radar. Forget about that percentage. It's just a number. This is looking a little stronger at these levels than what I'm seeing in Nvidia. So I'm going to draw myself my breakout trend line on AMD, and if it holds this, I want to look for some bounce. So there's your breakout, there's your dip, there's your hold. It just connected the third time here. So as long as AMD holds this line, I want to be long. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. I know it's a 4.5% move versus 2.1, but the way I look at it, right now, AMD looking a little bit stronger. So I'm going to connect those dots and buy the dip on this trend.
We just went 50 cents in the money and hopefully 60 cents. We're 50 cents now. We just got 2 VWAP, and I didn't have an order there, so now we do. Right there for XOM. Again, very special moment today because here it is. Yesterday, here's my daughter. It's her 10th birthday, so happy and sad. I wrote down right there. So she's funny, this one. What a talent. What a bright spot for me and Marissa. So again, happy birthday to the loved one in my family, Gia, my last daughter, coming through right there. And last, yeah, I have to say the last.
Wow.
I'd like to have more. But I don't got the cash. So anyways, happy birthday, Gia, there as well, as that means everything to me. So, all right, Robinhood 50 cents in the money, XO1 55 cents, and Shopify just went in the money, and we took a piece out there at 92. So we are short 98. Let's see if Shopify dips again. We're bidding 91s. We'll see if we get it again. But yeah, a huge day again here right now. And thank you so much for watching. The show, I promise, will be just as good, if not better, coming up right now. And then following that, me and Neil will be back at 2 p.m.
Yes,
so for Neil, Brendo in the back there, Sharif Adair about to kill it over there. We've got Ramin back. We've got Fabian in the building as well.
Full
Thank
house.
you to our good friend Randy for filling us up with. I had 2 coffees this morning, and this one's actually, one's half full, one's pretty much done, so not bad. Full, yeah, and I got to get on some more of this water. All right, let's get down Shopify. Here we go. Oh, yeah, Shopify filled. There we go, baby. Shopify back into the Greensville now. P&L-wise, let's see if this market collapses all over itself.
And thanks for the super chat there, Samuel Patlick in the chat.